Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. What's up, JL?
Oi.
You doing all right this morning?
Oh, yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. A little sleepy, but that's because it's 6 a.m. and I don't sleep.
It is 6 a.m. and you don't sleep.
Sleep is for the weak and the smart and strong and kind and loving. and for the love of God, deliver me sleep. I'll do anything. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. John Luke. Tommy with a big old poem for us this morning said, Katie warmed up in the city of sun. He dropped 23 and says, yeah, it was fun. The Bucks keep winning for 15 in a row, just sharpening their antlers and making some dough. Good wordplay. Raiders have decided to exit the fight of waiting for Rodgers to step into the light. The Bears are ready to trade the first pick and grin and bear it with Fields because he is shifty and quick. The combine is here. Let's see who's the boss. Will the 40 be broken of 4.22 by John Ross? Let me make you an offer you cannot refuse. Let's bring back the sod father. We've got nothing to lose. Montana beats Brady. It's almost just silly. Sold a game-worn jersey for $1.2 million.
Whoa.
Man, if I could sell my sweaty clothes for $1.2 million.
I think anyone would take that deal. I don't think that makes you unique.
Did I say anything about being unique to yourselves? I mean, thanks for the little ego check at 6 a.m.
I just really wanted to be mean in that moment. I thought of a few different routes.
You think you're freaking special, Simon? Because you want $1.2 million? Well, you're not. We got Coop in here this morning. Says, feels good to smash that fun button. Coop, keep those thoughts to yourself.
Oh, my gosh, Coop.
6 a.m.
Your mom's probably watching.
And we got Jolly Rancher in here. Speaking of moms, my mom's in here. What's up, Jolly Rancher?
Hi, good morning, Mama Grindelwald.
Glad to have you here bright and early. John Luke, you got me breakfast this morning?
I already ate it. I had some of your favorites, Simon. I had mini wheats, frosted mini wheats, but strawberry version.
I don't hate frosted mini wheats. I just think they're not good. They're not bad. They're just like the epitome of average. It's just like I've got a shredder that cuts things into like micro cuts, and it feels like if you just took a bunch of those and like smushed them together and then put it in the oven for 5 minutes to make it crispy, and that is frosted.
I mean, they taste pretty good though.
It's all right. It's a vessel for your strawberry flavored milk with your strawberry frosting on there.
Disagree.
How do you do cereal? Like whenever as an example, whenever I do cereal, I first pour the cereal, then the milk, and then I will continue pouring cereal until the milk is used up.
Really?
Like I don't use all the milk, but until there's like not enough that it would be worth it, and then I'll drink that milk.
Interesting. I always just do cereal milk, standard 1-2 combo. But I will say I don't always do milk. For a lot of cereals, I don't do milk, where I think other people would probably be shocked. And I only do a little bit of milk if I do add milk. It's not very much.
By not doing milk, do you mean you eat it dry or you use a different liquid?
Eat it dry.
Eat it dry. Wow, that sounds really refreshing.
Yeah. Eat it so dry. Desert dry.
And mini wheats. I feel like that's the driest cereal to eat dry.
Mini wheats is one of the ones I will put milk on, but I can eat them dry. Totally fine eating them dry.
I do not use orange juice like Tommy's suggesting.
Ew.
But I'll use some like some almond milk or something like that. Not normal milk. That's a bad way to start the morning for me.
We've been doing
Jail would be flying solo by the end of this show if I had a glass of milk.
Code Brown by the end of the first 30 minutes. Yeah, I been trying Maria's got this almond vanilla milk. It's pretty good. Been trying it out in cereal. Not so good for mac and cheese. Very good for cereal.
You did not put vanilla flavored milk in your mac and cheese.
There may have been a desperate attempt to make mac and cheese with vanilla almond milk.
Yikes. That's
not good. Not
pretty
very good.
nasty. Well, speaking of vanilla almond milk mac and cheese, I hope you guys prepared some bright and early this morning because we got everything else you need. We got the news stories. We got the topics that you got to talk about. You just got to bring your own breakfast. I brought
your own beef,
a big old glass of water. And you know what? I wasn't going to share this, but it's still sitting here, JL.
Your water? That water's
No.
from yesterday?
No,
your lemon water?
I didn't eat it, and I didn't throw it away, and I'm just now
it.
seeing it.
Eat
sitting
it.
here.
Take a bite.
Oh.
Take one bite. Take one single bite. Oh, how's it taste?
I'm trying not to taste it just in case. I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, you can spit that out.
It tastes like off lemon.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Now my mouth just tastes like bad lemon, like
Bad
lemon and socks.
Yesterday, I ordered kava, and right when I got up to my back door, the pita flew off the top and just landed on the sidewalk.
No.
Yeah, and of course, I'm on the call with Simon because we work together, and I'm like, what's the protocol on pita that's fallen on the sidewalk? Is there 5-second rule when it's outside? And you said it's totally fine if you can get over the mental barrier. It's probably the same level of dirty.
Yeah, like of course it's a little bit dirtier, but on the scale of how the dirtiness is going to affect you, dropping it on the sidewalk, if you were like raw dogging that pita through the air anyways, carrying it around where like it could hit the ground, it was probably already pretty gross. Know what I mean?
It was in one of those little half sleeve things, like that they put like hash browns in at McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah. I truly think the biggest barrier to eating things that have fallen on the floor, unless it like lands in something, like in dog hair, in a dog shit, and you can see it on there, is that mental block. Just dust it off, like Tommy said.
I mean, if the chat believes so, then I will. I wasn't desperate enough to have to do that because I had a whole nother pita. Because of course I ordered extra.
Coop in here says I leave the show for one day and it turns into Fear Factor.
Joe Rogan.
The best part about Fear Factor is watching it, and always about 6 minutes in you realize, holy shit, that's Joe Rogan. Like I never remember. And then I turn on Fear Factor and I'm like, that's a different man.
I haven't watched it since I was much younger. So I didn't know who Joe Rogan was at that time. Apart from that's the Fear Factor guy.
Exactly. John Luke, there was an interesting survey released yesterday by the NFLPA. I was going to say story, but there was an interesting survey released by the NFLPA yesterday where they surveyed roughly 1,300 players in a bunch of different categories to give teams NFL player report cards. So their facility for doing this was they asked 1,300 players to provide information to share with one another about their current club to not only help them make important career decisions, but to also help raise standards across the league. So their goals were to highlight positive clubs, identify areas that could use improvement, and highlight best practices and standards. The categories that they graded them in were treatment of facilities or treatment of families, nutrition, weight room, strength staff, training room, training staff, and locker room. So every team got a grade. Did you see any of these, Jay?
No.
If you had to guess, which teams do you think are sitting up there at the top?
I would say Seahawks will be up there.
They're not in the top 3, but they've got a pretty good grade overall. Their lowest grade is a B- in any of the categories. A couple A's, some B's sprinkled in there. So that's a great guess, JL.
What about the Rams?
Rams, so it's a mixed bag for them. They got some A pluses. They got some D's in there as well.
Really? I'm trying to think who might be in the top 3 if it's not these teams.
I'll give you number 1. Number 1 was the Vikings. They were the
Vikings.
They were the top graded team.
What were their scores? Do you have them across the board?
Yeah, I got them across the board for every team here, pulled up on the NFLPA website. So the Vikings, nothing lower than an A-. Everything was A's across the board in treatment of families, nutrition, weight room, strength staff, training staff, and locker room. Vikings got that 4.0, unless you're on the plus-minus system.
That's awesome. Shout out Vikings.
Shout out Vikings. Dolphins were next, and then Raiders. Raiders were number 3 on the list. So it goes Vikings, Dolphins, Raiders is the top 3 programs in the NFL for treatment of their players.
Interesting. Mark Davis doing something right.
Okay, now that we're talked about all the good, now that we're talked about all the good ones, Jail, now that we're all talked about that, the fun part is talking about the really bad teams.
Oh yeah. Well, I got to pull them up now because you were testing me, so I didn't have it pull up.
I'm gonna send this link. I'll send it to you real quick. You got it already?
I got it. Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat.
The Arizona Cardinals. Holy cow! They've got almost straight Fs. Their strength staff was an A-. Their training staff was a B+. But treatment of families, F. Nutrition, F-. Weight room, F-. Training room, F-. Locker room, F.
Wow. Dude, I said this around we were watching Hard Knocks recently. I was catching up on Hard Knocks and the Arizona Cardinals in season 1. And the owner came down and he was talking and it just made me lose. I didn't really know who the owner of the Cardinals was before this. And watching this, I'm like, this guy seems like a total dingus.
Listen to this. This came out from the NFLPA as well on the Arizona Cardinals after they got this bad report card. If players want dinner, it will be boxed up for them, but the team will charge them via payroll. Players reported that if you work out at the facility after the season is over, the team charges you to use their training facilities in the offseason. No other team in the league does either of those two things.
No,
they're taking it out of their paychecks for the boxed dinners at the facility.
Why?
And then forcing them to pay to use the facilities during the off season.
Cardinals, are you guys okay?
Right?
Are y'all doing right? Like, are y'all doing okay?
Do you remember all the crap Kyler got for working out in Dallas over the off season instead of working out in Arizona?
No,
he got so much crap from the Cardinals and from the media that he went to Dallas to work out during the offseason instead of Arizona. Now that I'm seeing this,
not to pay for it. How much do they charge?
And if he's got to pay for it, he might as well go to the best place, not the F- training facilities that the Arizona Cardinals have.
Yeah.
Like, what you're
looking at this list
for the worst gym in the league.
Right. Let's see what the Cowboys are.
I guess the trainer was nice.
Cowboys got a B in the training room.
He's going to pay for that B in Dallas instead of paying for your F- here in Arizona.
How do they? That's so interesting. I wonder how they measure this because I feel like everybody's scale is going to be different.
Yeah.
They must have this must be like a composite score or something.
It is. They surveyed 1,300 players. I'm guessing evenly distributed across teams. And we'll see. Albert in the chat saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert.
Morning,
You're just
Albert.
in time to hear about the audacity of the Arizona Cardinals. Also, I understand that you want to make money, but is nickel and diming your athletes the ones like in a product that is going to have a direct impact on how successful your team is?
Yeah.
Really, just raise beer prices a quarter, man.
It's going to make you more money if they're in their training using those facilities. So
100%.
Or if you have more control over their nutrition, that also is going to be better for you because you're going to have more control. It's another lever that you have to be able to potentially impact or affect the output or outcome of your franchise. Why the hell are you charging them? That's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Tommy said toughens them up. Too soft in recliners playing Xbox. Maybe he's playing Xbox because he doesn't want to pay for their damn gym membership.
Yeah, the Xbox room is free.
I just can't I can't get over the absurdity of forcing Kyler Murray to pay to lift weights at your facility. Can you imagine, Jail, if imagine you're in a corporate job, you're sitting in a cube and you use Outlook every day. You get home and you're like, oh, shoot, it's 7 p.m. I forgot to respond to this work email. You fire up your computer, and before you log into Outlook, you got to put your credit card information in so that you can access your work stuff outside of the office.
Hell no.
Right? That's what this is doing. This is saying you can't access your work email outside of work hours.
Right.
Something required to do your job that if you don't do, we'll be upset with you.
You have to pay for it.
Like if all of the Cardinals players said, okay, I'm not working out this summer, they wouldn't be happy.
Yeah. And Coop added in the same point you did, Simon. And Kyler got smoked for working out in Dallas.
It's ridiculous. Like
he's gonna come out and be like, yeah, like why did he say that then? Why didn't he whistle blow?
More respect for Kyler, I guess. He's not trying to blow anything up.
Dude, I would have been on Twitter like, yo, they make me pay for that shit. I'm not doing that.
I would have been out there so fast with the same thing.
Coop said only 2 teams gave their strength staff worse than a B, and Ravens gave theirs an F-. Ouch. That's not good. Yeah, let me look at the Ravens here. C+ on treatment of families, B- on nutrition, C+ on weight room, F- for strength staff, C for training room, B+ for training staff, and then A for locker room, A for travel. Hey, we traveling.
The ones with the staff scores of F feel like they're probably hurting somebody's feelings this morning.
Yeah.
Like that strength and conditioning coach is going to wake up in Baltimore and be like, oh, cool, the grades got released. I wonder how I did. And then look down
man.
Oh,
we've all been there. We've all been there with the surprise test grade, surprise homework grade that you weren't expecting to be bad.
The worst is when you expect it to be bad and somehow it's worse.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, that is the worst.
You leave an exam and you're like, I probably got like a D on that. And then your test comes back and it's at 27%.
Oh, my favorite is when you leave it and you think it's bad. And then you come back and a B. Okay, let's go. Smartest man alive.
I took a math class my last year of college where I found my limits mathematically. I found where I stopped being capable of understanding. I could recognize patterns in what was going on and try to recreate them. Like I could memorize steps, but it was the first time I sat in a class and I was like, this is above me. And I would sit down and I would take those quizzes and tests and I would write for every single question, all this stuff. And then I'd get to the end and I'd be like, this could be a 100. This equally likely could be a 0. Like, I don't know if a single step I did here was correct. And it was always just a complete surprise what was going to get handed back to me.
Dang.
It's the only time I felt completely in the dark about grades. Advanced engineering mathematics.
Oh, yeah, math. It's tough.
It was like theoretical series and stuff. Get that out of here.
I was going to try and make some sort of like limit joke where you said you found your limits mathematically, but nothing came.
That was kind of the joke in and of itself. Just using that word with a double meaning in there.
True. Simon, did you see Dan Campbell talking about the combine yesterday?
I did. He's a treasure.
He says you're great off tape, not what happens with guys running around in pajamas.
Did he say pajamas?
He said pajamas.
I mean, he's right though. I don't need to see Bryce
right.
Young run around in his pajamas. I saw his tape.
I wouldn't mind.
I said I didn't need to. I said nothing about my desire to see Bryce Young in a pair of pajamas. What kind of pajamas do you think he wears?
Flannel.
Like a wool flannel, a gown, a shirt and shorts, pants and a shirt, a different combination.
How do you feel about the combine? We got the combine coming up. How you feeling, Simon, going into the combine? Do you watch it every year? Of course you do.
Every last second of it. The most exciting part is when they measure their hands, and then I base all of my rookie rankings solely on how fast they run and how big their hands are at the combine. And if they don't run or don't have hands, then they're off my list. Yeah. Now, the combine seems it's a media circus around these players that are going to be the next NFL stars, right? It's a way to drum up excitement about the new class. A way for some players to showcase something that they didn't during the regular season. But for most of them, it's like It's a formality. It's part of what you do. You go and you do it. It doesn't affect my rankings too much unless there's something absurd. Like Coop has mentioned multiple times, like Kyron Williams, who was slow and small, right? That's a problem. So unless you get something like that, if it's within the range of outcomes for a player based on what we know about him already, then it really changes almost nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's fun to see, though. It's fun to just get excited for the rookies coming in.
I like when they do the 40-yard dash, but they put the ghost of the other person on there.
Oh, yeah. That is always fun.
That's my favorite, just to see them like running against the ghost. And they've got, and like, I get really into it too, because sometimes the ghost will get that early lead, and then you just see the guy come from behind, leaning back a little.
I do love the ghost. Kind of forgot about the ghost for a minute.
I still wish in all of these events, they would just like put one normal guy out there.
Yeah.
Just
like
a
Rich Eisen.
Yeah. Just grab Rich Eisen off the street. But like while those guys are doing it, just like every 10 minutes, remind us what a normal guy does. Like he showed the bench press over and over. Just grab the guy who works in the front office answering the phones and have him just push it up and down 3 times, however many times he can get it.
Right. Producer Keith said that reminds me of the Mario Kart trial or time trial. Yeah, they do have the little ghost guys.
Oh, I get so mad at him.
I totally I didn't mention this when we were talking about the team player association. I'm seeing it now, Simon. Did you see the Jaguars? There's a comment left on the Jaguars report cards from the NFLPA. It said, "Get rid of the rats." Vomit.
Do you think that was like hyperbolic rats, or do you think those were
like metaphorical rats?
Metaphorical rats, like get the rats out of here. Like we got to clean this up. Or do you think it's literal rats?
I think it's literal rats.
God, gross.
Yeah, I think there's literal rats living underneath my AC unit.
Yeah, in Baltimore, they're just like, we got rats, A+.
For real, we got bumper stickers. A bunch of people put bumper stickers on their car about the rats.
You ever had a rat in your house?
No, they don't really go in houses.
The Baltimore rats are above that.
They're just like outdoor rats.
They're just there's a guy of outdoor rats.
Yeah, God. They're trained.
They're trained.
Spayed and neutered.
What category does that go under for the Jaguars?
I don't know. Facility, locker room?
Probably facilities. Do they do all right elsewhere? Not really. They got a couple A's. They have really nice staff, is what it looks like. And you know what? For a failing team, that's probably a good place to start. It's a lot easier to hire someone good than it is to eliminate rats from an entire football stadium, I would imagine.
Right.
But rough Jaguars, and F in treatment of families. That's the one that like hurts. Like treatment of families. What are they doing to get an F? Not just like a C or a D. Like that seems like
doing to the families
outwardly negative, right? Like they're forcibly separating them or something.
Right.
Like you get to Jacksonville and they take your children.
Right.
Is that what an F is? They've just got
so.
Children are distracting. We have an on-site 24/7 daycare facility. No visits allowed. It's child prison. Or maybe
Definitely
they're using
an F, at least a D.
They're using the children to hunt the rats in the stadium.
Well, at least they don't have rats. They got the children taking care of them.
We'll worry about the treatment of families category next year.
Right. That's we got to focus on training this year. Families next year.
Also, Tommy brought up Mario Kart, and I saw a Mario Kart. I don't know if it's a conspiracy or if it's just a known thing, but there were people in the comments fighting about it. Apparently, the computers will adjust their speed. It's called like boomeranging if they get too far behind you. So if you are doing very well, the computers will speed up to try to close that gap in Mario Kart. So no trouble when you're playing single player because they're going to mask that level. You probably don't even notice because you're used to like, that's how the computers always play against you. Where the trouble comes in is if you're playing 2-player with 2 different people on different skill levels, because the person who's the second best, when they play solo, they're probably winning first place all the time. But if now somebody else, the other single player who's better, is setting the pace and is out front and the computers are boomeranging to try to catch them, That second player may go from I'm used to getting first all the time to now coming in 6th, 7th, 8th whenever they play with the better player, because the computers are artificially going faster to try to close that gap.
Artificially, like they can
go
increase their
faster than it was
speed.
supposed to. Like it's a cheap
that's messed
way, instead
up.
of making the strategy better to try to close the gap, it's a cheap way of just like making it closer.
That's so dumb. That's like
It's a
the
shortcut.
worst. Yeah, it's a shortcut for sure. Is this on the new Mario Karts? Not
That's
the
what
old
I
Mario
saw.
Karts.
Not on. I don't know if it's on the old Mario Karts. I just saw a video about the new Mario Karts.
Wow. And Scott Fish coming in saying, I saw side-by-side video of this last night myself. They did the same character, same start spot. Person had 1 coin, the other had 0 coins, and 0 coin Waluigi went faster.
I believe it.
Very slightly.
I
That's messed
believe
up.
it.
This is why I don't like the new Mario Karts.
Oh, I
They're
still like it.
garbage.
It's still fun. But you're a
Mechanics
double
are bad.
dash purist.
Not even just Double Dash, it's the old ones. But yeah, Double Dash is good.
I can't play double dash with you and Maria.
Because you get wrecked.
Yeah, because you guys have played, like, you've got like your 10,000 hours in that one. You've mastered it.
Yeah. There's a lot of games like that, huh?
Yeah, there are a lot of games like that. I told Leanne that you and Maria started Cuphead, and we are on the second to last boss. And I said, Leanne, I know this sounds ridiculous, but we're on a timer now. Like, they have started, and they will get very, very good at this game. I know it. It's a matter of time. Like, it may be a slow start, but they will start making ground on us, and I will not let them finish this game before we do. And she was like, there's no way. And I was like, you don't know them. Like,
You don't know
they
what they're
can
capable of.
master a game like that. They'll sit down and play it for 6 hours every night until they've got like the mastery of it down. So they're a well-oiled machine just gliding on
well-oiled
us.
machine.
A swell-oiled machine.
I want to say wrong, but you're not.
Maria in the
see
chat
her.
saying, good morning. What's up,
Good
Maria?
morning. I hope she heard that.
And Scott said, where is Coop? Jill, where is Coop?
Coop is currently trying to figure out how to insert himself into the Mario Kart game. He heard about the slingshot maneuver, and he wanted to be the guy being slingshotted.
You ever ridden the slingshot, the like fair ride where they put the elastic ropes on the ball and then just catapult you into the air?
Yeah, I've been on something similar to it. Not that exact one.
That thing's wild. The videos of that are always gold. Like the AFV style home videos of people thinking they're going to die on the slingshot ride.
Dude, can you imagine roller coaster, like amusement park design, ride design, as from like an engineering standpoint? It's kind of a wild job.
It is kind of a wild job.
It's like, all right, we're gonna make them do this, then we're gonna loop them around, and then we're gonna throw them up in the air, and we're gonna catch them, but they're not gonna be in danger at any point, but they're gonna think they're in danger.
I swear, Roller Coaster Tycoon was never a good game for me because they would like tell you like the G-force that the passengers were feeling. And every time I designed these sick roller coasters, they would get to the end and every passenger would be passed the F out. just like knocked out, like unconscious in the ride at the end.
You just killed all your guests.
I didn't kill them. I put them to sleep. You just have to be carried off the roller coaster. You probably can kill them. I'm at because I think you can do a roller coaster without a finished track, if I remember correctly.
So they're just flying off.
You can just launch them off the end.
Brutal.
And Coop said, tried the Rainbow Road jump and missed. Well, damn. Hopefully, what's that guy on the clouds name that comes and saves you? It starts with an L. Starts with an L.
I don't know.
Lakitu.
Lakitu, that's what it is.
That's what it is. We found it, baby.
Yeah.
A quote from McCarthy yesterday of the Dallas Cowboys on Kellen Moore leaving. This was John Machota who tweeted it out. He said, I've been where Kellen has been. Kellen wants to light the scoreboard up, but I want to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense.
Damn.
There was more to the quote, but that was the gist of it. I get where he's coming from, watching some of these Cowboy teams, but also this dude hasn't always been known for his stellar defenses. Maybe this is a change in philosophy, but I remember specifically some Packers teams I feel like that were high flying with no defense.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, you're right. And I don't think that they necessarily have to be mutually exclusive, which I guess is his point. It's just like his preference is to not play as risk heavy as maybe Kellen Moore wants to. Maybe it's just a difference in philosophies. And I don't know. The news outlets are making it seem like he went in on Kellen Moore, and I don't really read it that way.
Yeah, no, he also said that Kellen Moore did a hell of a job and continued to improve over the last 3 years, but it does sound like maybe a difference in philosophy between these two guys. The rest of that quote, he said, I think when you're a coordinator, but you're in charge of the offense. So left some of that blank for you to fill in yourself. I think when you're a coordinator, but you're in charge of the offense. Being a head coach and being a play caller, you're a little more in tune with everything. I don't desire to be the number one offense in the league. I want to be the number one team in the league with a number of wins and a championship. And if we got to give up some production and take care of the ball better to get that, then that's what we'll do because we have a really good defense.
Right. And he said, yeah, I think you already said this, but it's worth reiterating. He said, but I want to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense. I don't desire to be the number one offense in the league. And I think that's it. That's the crux of it right there, right? His philosophy is different. Are you happy if McCarthy's your coach? Are you happy with that type of philosophy?
I think it depends on the player you are. If you're the defense, you're probably very happy. In the offensive players, you know what? Most of these guys just want to win here in Dallas, so I think they're cool with it. The results will determine whether these players are happy or not. Now, if CeeDee Lamb starts getting fewer targets and the Cowboys are losing, that's going to be an unhappy CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
But if they're going out there winning, they're doing their parts, Mike McCarthy's leading them in a successful strategy, they're not going to be mad about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you.
Tommy wants to know, who is the Cowboys' new running back?
Tony Pollard.
They'll probably bring in someone else as well, but Pollard, the head honcho there this year. What free agent you want to see end up there?
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe more of like a Jamal Williams. I want to see Jamal's got to be back in Detroit.
Jamal Williams of the Cowboys feels it would
dirty.
be wrong. It would feel very wrong. He's got to be back in Detroit.
It doesn't feel good.
You need a Dan Campbell to fall in love with Jamal Williams. Mike McCarthy is not fun enough to fall in love with Jamal Williams.
No. Jamal Williams would be out there being silly, and Mike McCarthy would be like, run the damn ball. And Jamal Williams would be like, hey, I'm a running back. And he'd be like, run the damn ball. Yeah, that's all he says on the sideline the whole time.
How did the Cowboys grade in the NFLPA?
The NFLPP graded.
Oh, they did great.
Did they?
Fantastic. Pretty much A's across the board, except for a B in training room and a C- in travel.
You know what? I believe it so hard because as much crap as we give Jerry Jones, he loves that team. Know what I mean? Like, that guy's got flaws, a ton of them. We could write a book of the flaws of Jerry Jones, the things he shouldn't say, the things he shouldn't do.
Receipt of flaws.
Exactly. It could go on forever. But you can never say that he doesn't love the Cowboys. Like, even if his decisions are bad, I truly believe he's making them in the best interest of the Cowboys in his mind. Like, some owners, I don't trust that. The Cardinals owner, no chance in hell he's charging them to use the gym in the best interest of the Cardinals.
No, he's a stinker.
But Jerry Jones, he would throw all his money into a furnace to get 3 Super Bowls, I feel like. Like, that dude just wants success from that franchise.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Feels like
Jerry Jones
wants a ring.
He does love the Cowboys. He loves the Cowboys. And
So I'm not shocked.
Scott Fish in the chat said, are you guys going to discuss Ian's mock today?
No, but we should have.
No. Yeah. No.
No, but we should have put that on the show schedule. We could have learned a little thing or two from Ian's mock. Yeah. We don't want to empower people too much to be good at fantasy. No. And showing them an Ian Fish mock draft might be a little too far.
Yeah.
They're going to be too good at this point.
Simon, did you see the thing about Shane Steichen bringing up Jalen Hurts?
I did.
It's kind of weird. He's addressing a question about perspective or like different prospect QBs. And he said that the Colts' future QB needs to imitate Hurts' makeup and approach, reiterating how Hurts is consistently putting in work at the team facility from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. So Shane Steichen got a little bit of a crush on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he loves that dude.
That dude.
That probably is difficult for whoever the next quarterback under Shane Steichen is going to be if he's used to dealing with a player like Jalen Hurts, right? To come to expect that level of work ethic and professionalism in his actions and in his play is
6
not
a.m. to
standard.
9 p.m. That's like
absurd.
Our standard day.
That's like truly absurd. And then to be like, you go make me play football for a couple hours of that, I'm falling asleep, man.
Oh, for sure.
Or I'm just really
there's
tired.
a bird right outside my window right now, Simon. Oh, it's gone.
What's it doing?
It was just showing me its butt. I think it was looking the other direction, but from my perspective, I just saw the butt.
The birds are picking back up here. They in the summer, dude.
What the heck does that mean?
They go wild. That means when you sit in
here.
my living room at 6 a.m. as the sun's rising, you hear. I think I described it the other day as the soundtrack of a rainforest cafe. It's just like you hear like not just the typical like tweet tweet tweet. You also hear like. like there's like funky weird bird noises going on outside, and then I swear to God, there's a family in them. They leave in the winter, they go hang out somewhere else, but then they come back.
A
and
human
they live.
Family?
Yes, there's a human family dressed like birds that leaves for the winter, and then in the summer they come back and they climb into my walls and just flap their wings and lay their eggs and tweet in the walls while I'm trying to work.
That sounds inconvenient
for them, especially. I don't know how they fit in there.
Oh,
I hate birds. I was about to just say really mean things about birds. I just don't like them. They're scary and loud.
Yeah, they are kind of scary.
I'm not a fan of loud animals. When they
I get that.
Make their presence known all the time. Like deer, you're pretty cool. You're just like, here I am, and I'm going to run away before you get too close.
Right.
You don't have to be fearful that they're thinking about coming closer.
But birds.
Oh, I mean, they don't come closer either, but they're scary. They can fly. Trust nothing that can fly and has a tongue.
It's a weird combo.
That's what I'm going with.
I see.
We've talked about the Cardinals quite a bit, mostly around their failure as an organization. But it looks like some information about DeAndre Hopkins has leaked from the Cardinals side. Mike Jurecki tweeted out yesterday that according to a couple agents he's spoken with, the Cardinals are looking for at least a second-round pick and a conditional pick for DeAndre Hopkins, and that these conversations are happening at the Combine. So we kind of expected that D-Hop would be on the move. I'd heard little rumors of it, but it sounds like they're having the conversations now.
Oh, Billy B, come get your guy.
A second and a conditional. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
For DeAndre Hopkins, I feel like.
Yeah. What's his contract situation look like? You remember?
10 or 11, I think.
10 or 11? Really?
Yeah.
No way.
At least from like on the scale of contracts.
Look, it's at the very
he signed
top
a 2-year.
of the
He signed a 2-year, $54 million contract with the Arizona Cardinals, including a $27.5 million signing bonus and $60 million guaranteed. How is it a 54.5 contract with six? Oh, because of math is how it works with the signing bonus. So let's see.
His dead cap's 22.6 million. His dead cap hit this year. If they were to cut him, which is significant, and then 11.3 million the following year.
And the cap hit is 30 million this year and 26 million the following year. It makes sense to trade him, get that 30 million and 26 million dollar hit off the cap. Where does he end up? You mentioned New England. When you mentioned Billy B,
I think a lot. Titans, Giants, Patriots, we talked about. The Rams, probably. Ravens, Chargers, potentially.
If they cut, I don't know if they can. If they can't afford DeAndre
there.
Hopkins, probably.
Yeah, probably not. Jacksonville, the Colts, Texans.
With a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, he makes
every
sense
team.
on every team.
Yeah,
Packers,
Lions. Packers would be interesting.
If Aaron Rodgers comes back.
That'd be weird. Aaron Rodgers throwing to DeAndre Hopkins. Weird, right?
I can't tell if they would hate each other or love each other because there is, oh God, I hate that there is something oddly similar about their demeanors. I feel like I feel like
DeAndre Hopkins is very like holistic medicine.
And they're both a little kind of like quiet, but not like private. Know what I mean? I wouldn't call them private, but like reserved and not.
They both have this air of distrust towards the establishment.
I think that's part of what it is.
Yeah, they both have a very strong distrust of the establishment. So I think that you're right, Simon. That is a very interesting pair to put together.
They'd either hate each other or love each other. It would be one of the two. Like those guys would either really hit it off or they would just freaking hate each other.
Right. We got Dustin in the chat says, "Sup, dudes?
What's up?" So
bro?
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, he said he'll make a decision soon enough. And if you think I'm being a diva, just tune it out. And you know what?
Just tune it out.
I'm with him there. Do your thing, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe we haven't always
coming
agreed.
around on Aaron Rodgers. Kind of far with him.
I think he's a jackass. That doesn't mean I don't like him. I've got plenty of friends who are jackasses. A lot of friends who are jackasses, but I like them. Just be genuine. That's what if you're
be a genuine jackass.
Be a genuine jackass, and then we're cool. Just don't do anything outside of that.
Just don't do anything outside of that. Yeah, I don't love the game playing, which sometimes I see from Aaron Rodgers, but I think just from like a general standpoint, like I'm all about the general life that he's going down, you know,
do your thing, man.
Yeah, dude, you know.
I don't agree with all of it.
Live it the way you want.
Sometimes you're an idiot. Maybe you shouldn't eat clay, but if you want to eat clay, go for it. Like JL said,
I'm gonna make fun of you, but I still respect it.
YOLO, eat your clay.
Eat your clay.
I did see a theory that I'd never considered before, and probably this has been talked about ad nauseum, but it was the first time I had seen it. People saying there's no way Aaron Rodgers retires because he doesn't want to share Hall of Fame induction day with Tom Brady.
Oh.
If he retires now, they're going to share the same induction day, and that will not be Aaron Rodgers' day. That will be Tom Brady's day. Right? The entire thing is going to be about Brady the day he gets inducted.
Kind of
makes sense. I wouldn't want to share it with, and that's not even an arrogance thing on his end. I don't want to share it with Tom Brady if I'm another great quarterback.
Yeah, you want your own special day. Man. Oh my God. That might be reason enough for him to play another season.
Makes a lot of sense, right?
It makes a lot of sense.
I read that and it changed my mind on whether he was retiring or not. I was starting to go the other way.
Retiring, but this definitely like makes me a little bit more confident that he's definitely not.
Right. Also, I see Hal in here. What's up, Hal? Good morning.
What up, Hal?
So D-Hop is one of those guys who's not big on the reading the playbook, isn't he? I don't know. I don't know if he's like that. I've never heard that about DeAndre Hopkins. But I do know there's certain guys in the NFL that don't operate that way.
Yeah, and I imagine that's just like it probably takes a lot of activation energy or a lot of energy to learn a playbook. So I get that.
Absolutely. Also, Dustin said, I've been saying this for 2 years now for both Brady and Rodgers. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Because, you know, they're both they proud guys. They're going to want their own day.
Yeah, and it checks out. Again, that's nothing against Rodgers wanting his own day. I'd want my own damn day as well.
Yeah.
Tom Brady gets enough days.
He does.
It's enough out of you, Tom.
No more Tom.
No more Tom.
There was a rumor yesterday. It's not really much of a rumor. It just kind of confirms what we've been thinking. But a report came out about Joe Mixon expected to be released if they can't get some sort of restructure. So just adding fuel to that fire that Joe Mixon might be a free agent this year.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where he ends up. That'll be, man, what a free agent running back class that would be. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon to highlight the top of the free agent RBs.
Right. That would be sick.
It's pretty good pickings for the teams out there. Maybe you don't have to feel pickings. Maybe there's more temptation not to go for one of these rookie backs whenever you've got these guys out there.
Right.
And it also helps teams because having more top end talent definitely suppresses the value, right? If
Yeah.
it was just Saquon,
Demand,
only
right? Supply
Saquon,
demand.
then he could demand way more to the team that's trying to sign him. But they may just say, "Oh, we'll go talk to Joe.
Go on, talk to Joe.
Let's go see how little Mixie boy is doing over there."
I like Mixie boy.
Joe Mixon. Saw a report, Jail, that I don't know the details and the article's behind a paywall, but the headline alone, I'm just imagining the conversations. NFL owners asked Jerry Jones to broker deal with Dan Snyder on Commander's sale, report says. So the NFL owners all got together and he said, okay, we need one person, one capable man to make this impossible task happen. If we have to put all our eggs in one basket to get Dan Snyder to sell this team, who do we trust more than any other NFL owner? And it was Jerry Jones.
And Jerry said, howdy.
Jerry said, oh, I got you. Pass those Egg McMuffies. I'm going to bring one on down to my buddy Dan.
That sounds like Jerry Jones and Sean McVay had a baby.
Sean McJones.
Sean McJones. They combined their last names.
Yeah. That was the part that made
Mick Jones.
Mick
I like
Jones.
That. Mick Jones.
Say it again.
Mick Jones. Hal in the chat said every Tuesday is Tommy Tuesdays.
Today's Thursday. Are you just letting us know for next Tuesday? Just letting us know.
Tommy Tuesday.
Mark it down. Next Tuesday. Tommy Tuesday.
Doesn't said I also think Brady came back last year because he didn't want to share a year with Big Ben and AP, so he unretired. That caused Rodgers to stay.
I have less belief on the Brady side because I think Brady dominates whatever Hall of Fame ceremony he's in. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, unless it was a altruistic thing towards Big Ben and AP, which I don't know of a long-standing deep friendship between Tom Brady and those guys to assume that. That being said, there's egos at play, so definitely possible.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady seems like he'll be the highlight of whatever class he's in. All the news will be about that, dude.
Yeah, most likely.
So Tommy in the chat said, like it. We'll be ready.
We'll be ready, Tommy Tuesdays.
What do you eat on Tommy Tuesday?
You eat tiramisu.
Tiramisu. Tiramisu.
There you go.
That sounds kind of like you just shoved mommy into tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
Tiramisu, mommy. Tommy. Tommy, the tiramisu, mommy. Good morning, Tommy. Welcome in.
Can we clip that? Clip it. Clip
We
it.
got a drop. And Hal said, and guac and vodka is what you eat.
Guac and vodka.
I saw a poll the other day that asked for the best dip at a Mexican restaurant, JL.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Salsa.
guacamole, salsa, queso, or what was the other one? There was one more. I don't remember
That's
what the
wrong,
fourth one on
but-
the list was. What'd you say?
I said that's wrong.
What do you mean that's wrong?
Guac should not be first. Salsa's first.
Well, it was on the list. Those were the options you could vote on.
Okay.
But guac also did come in first, and I was
Yeah.
wildly offended.
Yeah, that's wrong.
How are you going to put that above a queso and salsa?
Guac's great. I could understand putting it above queso. I think they're in the same tier, but nothing beats salsa. Salsa's the one I want. Comes with
Nothing
every
beats
meal.
salsa. And there's just so many different options.
Oh my god,
What's your
Yeah.
favorite kind of salsa?
the good kind.
Oh, I do like that kind too. That's
Yeah.
probably my second favorite.
Yeah,
Behind the shit kind.
spicy salsa. There's a place that my family used to go to. It was like a spot. It's kind of near the University of Maryland campus. It's like in that general area, which is where my granddad used to work, and we used to go there all the time or like randomly for like family events, and they had the dankest salsa. So good, so spicy.
I'm a sucker for a salsa verde. It's simple. It's just 3 ingredients. It's jalapenos, limes, and salt. But you grill up those jalapenos. It is so tasty. I'm going to go chug salsa during the break.
I'm
Just
so
grab a
hungry.
can of fridge. Grab a can of fridge.
Grab a can of fridge and shove it down your throat.
Well, looks like we got someone coming up on stage. I don't know if they got some more details about Tommy Tuesday for us. They want to let us know what you're supposed to eat or defend guacamole as we've sat here and disparaged it.
We need to know.
Salsa. What's up, pal? Welcome in, my friend.
How are you fellas doing?
Doing
Better
all right.
now.
Are
Better
you
now.
you coming up here to defend guacamole or to tell us a little bit more about Tommy Tuesdays?
Well, can it be both? Can't both things be true?
Both
You
can
know
be
what?
true.
You know
So
what?
guacamole contains all the things that you talk about going into salsa,
Queso?
except for the queso. I said all the things going into salsa. All right.
One out of the
Hold
two
on.
things.
Hold on. I'm not disparaging queso. All right. I'm just
Okay.
making a case for guac.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, so Hal hates queso. Loves
Whoa,
guacamole.
queso. That's not okay.
Queso is for nerds.
But Hal, I was ready for a lot of arguments for guacamole. You caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared for all the things you love in salsa are also in guacamole. And now I'm trying to, you got me reeling. You got me on my back feet a little bit
It's
here.
different though. Like
It is different.
You don't have different kinds of guacamole. I mean, you do.
Oh,
but,
you
like,
do too? You can go to a good Mexican restaurant and get 3 different varieties of guacamole.
I understand
You
that,
can
but
go
they're
get
all
guacamole
guacamole at
without
the end of the day.
the guy. You can mush it up or get it chunky.
They're just
just
different
like
variations
salsa.
of the same thing.
The same
Salsa-
thing with salsa.
No, salsa, you wildly different sauces. Just wildly different.
Is hot sauce salsa, by the way?
No,
Because there was this
absolutely
really hood Mexican store where I grew up that had the best hot sauce in the world.
not. What's it
And
called?
it
What's
came
the name
in
of the
like
hot
melt
sauce?
your face off and regular.
Ooh, which one did you get?
Oh, melt your face off.
Oh,
We
of
would have
course.
contests, so you could drink the little tiny 1 ounce souffle cups. Like me and my brother and my uncle, who was not an adult.
Oh, we should do hot sauce bets.
Oh, I'm so down.
Oh.
I
You
love
just chug a
torturing
little,
myself with spicy.
a little
Do it
paper
like the
cup.
Hot Wings show where you guys have trivia.
I was
Oh,
I
yeah.
was watching Hot Ones last night. That show is so funny.
It is good.
You guys want to hear
It
a
is awesome.
guacamole fact that I learned? Not
All right,
too
I got to
long
go and
ago?
drop the kids off, fellas. I want your fact.
Hal
Good
says,
one.
Jal.
I hate your fact. See you, Hal. Enjoy the rest of your day. Here's the fact that I learned. So the name guacamole, it's a type of mole. Like the sauce that is made, all that mole requires is that it's involves some
What's a
sort
mole?
of seed.
Never heard that word.
Like the chocolate sauce that's common in Mexican cuisine.
Ah,
It's a traditional sauce made in Mexican cuisine, and there's a lot of different varieties. The most common mole involves like chocolate and cinnamon and spices, and so it's a brown or black sauce depending on how it's prepared. There's red mole, there's yellow mole, but there is also guacamole. It is in the mole family of sauces, even though it's much
Interesting.
thicker than the other ones. It blew my mind. Those were wildly separate things to me, and then I learned, nope, they're the same. There's a reason
Guacamole.
it's got mole in it.
interesting. I had no idea.
Tommy said, why guaca? Because of Fozzie Bear. Guaca, guaca. I'm so sorry. And Fozzie Bear says waka waka.
Who the heck is Fozzie Bear?
I realized as I did it that it was not the Muppets audience on the show with me today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go watch some
Okay.
Muppets.
It's
Jail.
Muppets. All right. Good to know.
You ready to get into some Weddle?
Yeah, let's do it.
Dustin said he can't wait for us to do it, but then said don't do hard. Don't have to tell me twice.
I don't want to do it now.
don't want to fail at 6:53 in the morning.
All right. Who's first in this one?
I'll think of a letter and you think of a player. T.
Higgins.
Oh, cool. Good idea, JL.
All right. T. Higgins. Hey, wide receiver.
The division is incorrect, but it's the right conference. So we got AFC. The position is right. They're shorter than 6'4", but they're close. So 6'3" or 6'2". They're much older than 24, so at least 27, and much lower than 85, so at least 82 is their number. So we need an AFC wide receiver who's tall but not too tall. Old but maybe not too old. But could be
Maybe-
too old.
I feel like we just say the same names.
You want to pick an old guy to like kind of create a range, like pick someone who's like 30 to kind of make a sandwich.
Sure.
So who's a AFC old wide receiver that's not in the North?
Not in the North. AFC. What about Corey Davis
Corey Davis. He's tall though,
or
right?
Stephon Diggs?
Stephon Diggs might make sense.
He's
What's his number?
6'4", probably.
Oh, he's 6'4".
Maybe not. No, he's probably not.
don't think he's-
He's number 14.
Okay, that's much lower. Let's try it.
All right.
Okay. So we got some more information. That was a good guess. I like it. He's not in the East or the North. He's taller than 6 foot, shorter than 6'4", which means
6'2".
Yeah, he's got to be 6'2", right? Right in the middle. He's got to be 6'2". Then the age is 27 or 28, and the number is less than 14.
27, 28. So AFC South or AFC West. Denver over 24. Could this be a Cortland Sutton? No,
Is he
too
27
tall.
or 28? Yeah, too tall. Is Cortland Sutton too tall?
He's also number 14 as well.
Okay, I'm going to look at the South. Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk could be it. Is he tall? Is he 6'2"?
I don't know.
He's got to be, right?
He's got to be, right?
No. He doesn't got to be.
He doesn't got to be. He may be. I'm not good at player heights. I know generally tall or short for players that fit into one of the extremes.
What about Pittman?
He's too big, right? That's a big guy. Pittman is like a big-bodied receiver.
All right, let's go with Kirk.
You want to try Kirk to see if we can get some more information?
Yeah.
Okay. Jacksonville's correct. Division is correct. Position is correct. He's a little too short at 5'11", and he's a little too young at 26. But overall, pretty good guess. So now we just got to get the Jacksonville wide receiver that it is.
So Zay Jones maybe, or Jamal Agnew?
Which one you want to try?
Zay Jones is number 7, I think.
Okay, that fits.
Who's Zay?
It is Zay Jones.
Nice
job,
score.
JL. Shout out Zay.
Shout out Zay. Why
Sorry,
am I
Marvin.
good at jersey numbers? Why is that my thing? Though? It's such a useless thing.
I still remember during this season whenever Matt came into the chat and was like, Matt, Better Boss, came in the chat during our pre-gaming show and said, I have to start Zay Jones and Marvin Jones today. And you were like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's like, what's
Deal
one
with-
word to describe having to start
That's
Zay
it.
Jones and
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones?
And you said serendipitous, if I remember correctly. And then what did they do? They both had touchdowns that week.
Serendipitous.
Serendipitous. Matt, if you could do that with some of my players this season, I'd appreciate it. Guys, coming up, we got some
Matt's
games.
magic?
That was Matt's magic that made
Oh,
it
wow.
happen. He served it up to you. He
Right.
slammed it off the tee.
Right.
We got some games coming up. We are going to talk free agent quarterback and tight ends. And then our friend Alfredo is going to join the show for a round of brackets. Dale and I are going to pitch some of our best and worst ideas. And then we're going to play Fantasy Feud with our friend Brian Drake. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
As a longtime baseball fan, here's my message to other baseball fans, to steal a line from the Packers' future Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Everyone needs to relax after what we saw this past weekend as spring training games out in Arizona and down in Florida got going, and we're inching closer and closer to Major League Baseball opening day. The rule changes in Major League Baseball is not for myself. It's not for you out there, the hardened baseball fan, whether you're a fan 5, 10, 15, 30, or even 50 years from all around this great country. It's not for those that are going to be locked in. It's for trying to generate more fans. So if they want the pitcher to go out there and work in rhythm with a guy on base, begin the windup within 20 seconds, nobody on base, begin the windup within 15 seconds, or have the batter make sure that he's back in the batter's box within 8 seconds, then making the base pass first, second, and third bigger, eliminating the shift. All of this is to make the game better. We've seen leagues, whether it be the National Football League, do you think it's the same league as it is today in 2023, or what we saw in 2022 as it was 30 years ago? No, it's not. Is NBA basketball the same? No. How many games do you see being played? 83-79 finals. You don't see that at all. So every league adjusts to try and bring what? More fans into the sport. And that is something that Major League Baseball is going out there and trying to do. I've been critical at times of Rob Manfred, whether or not as a MLB commissioner, whether he likes the sport based on some of the rhetoric that he has spewed in years gone by. But I got to be honest with you, as a longtime baseball fan, I've been a Yankee fan my entire life. Watched a ton of Met games here in the tri-state area. Watched baseball all around. Can't wait for October baseball. Think it's absolutely unbelievable what is transpiring now and what's happening now, and the rule changes being brought about baseball. It's going to bring back to the game to when I became a fan, where the stolen base was something, moving guys over was something, having men on base, batting averages ascending, not being an all or nothing league where either you're striking out or hitting the ball over the fence. And that is what baseball is trying to do. So as everybody tries to adjust, and change is difficult, whether you're changing your diet, exercise routine, changing your relationships, changing a job, change is different. I get that. And it's hard. But let's take a step back. Let's understand what Major League Baseball is trying to do here. And they're trying to repopulate or repopularize the sport. That's what they're trying to do. They're clearly the third most popular sport in the United States. They want to make it less regionalized. This is the way they need to go about doing it. I'm all for it. For more content like this, download the Better Sports Network app or go to bettersports.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
It's in the beans.
Hal in the chat said, now I feel like calling in and doing a good Fozzie Bear after mine Guaca. That's Fozzie Bear after his career failed. He blew all his money and he had to go start working at like a shitty chain Mexican restaurant. And he walks up to the table and makes guacamole table side. But as he's doing it, he's just crying, going, guaca.
Then he has to put on the sombrero and sing happy birthday to the kid two tables down.
Washed up, working at a chain restaurant, Fozzie Bear.
Life comes at you fast.
God, it comes at you fast, man. And I don't even know what the life expectancy on a puppet is. That dude might be stuck like that forever.
Can't be good.
No.
Can't be good.
No. Kill me.
Kill me.
Where do you think Fozzie Bear is going to end up next year as a free agent? Because we are talking free agents right now in a segment called Free Agents. I forget the name of the segment. 007, something like that.
That's it. How'd you know it?
Free Agent 007. We're talking quarterbacks and tight ends today. We talked running backs 2 days ago, wide receivers yesterday. Today is quarterbacks and tight ends. Also, Tommy said Fozzie Image is going to go to the Bears.
Bears.
Because he's sad? Is that why?
Poor Fozzie. Can we talk about something I know about?
Yeah.
I want to contribute to Fozzie Bear, and I have no idea what to contribute.
What bear would you like to talk about?
Smokey.
Okay, my knowledge is limited on Smokey Bear, but
honestly, I don't think he has many dimensions. I think it's kind of just the fire hazard
it's
thing.
The forest fire thing. He's got nothing else besides that.
That's really the depth of his personality.
He's actually wildly boring. And that's just what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Just loves trees. I don't know why. Every time I see Smokey Bear, it reminds me of this guy that I knew in high school. I was a freshman and he was a senior. And I did F1 in schools, which was like Nerd Pinewood Derby. I'm pretty sure I've told you this before. Mm-hmm. But he was a senior at another school that like taught me how to use like the 3D design software. And he taught me how to use the virtual wind tunnel. And he had won the world championship in this event with his team multiple times as the lead designer. Ferrari had offered him a job straight out of high school, making $500,000 a year. And he said, no, I want to go to college, but I would still love to take that job. But I want to get a college education. Like I'm going to go to UGA. I'm going to get my engineering degree or physics. And then I'm going to come back and I would love to work. And they said, no problem. Like that works. And so he was going to go to UGA.
Waiting for the ball to drop.
He's at orientation in line at the physics building. And then he sees the forestry line. And he goes, I don't know if I really want to do this physics thing. And he goes over to the forestry line, signs up as a forestry major, and is a park ranger to this day.
No way.
He had a $500,000 a year job offered to him straight out of high school. He said no, majored in forestry, changed his mind at orientation, and is the happiest bearded little park ranger I have seen. Just run. I say little. Dude's like 6'3". He's like this tall, lanky, nerdy, dweeby, tree-loving dude. and he's living his best life.
Dude, I respect the hell out of that guy.
Right? Whenever I saw that, my first thought was no. And then I see the pictures of him, and it's like, yes.
Do what you love, man. Do what
Did
you
what
love.
he loved. Did what he loved.
I wonder if he ever thinks about it. Like he's sitting there at night, just like, damn, I should have taken that Ferrari deal.
Nah,
Shoot.
he seems pretty happy. Though I did delete most of my social media with all people I knew from high school, so
they're
I
all
don't know how
frozen
he's
in
doing
amber.
anymore.
They're all frozen wherever they were in life.
In the woods.
in the woods for him, yeah.
House had huge balls on that court. I'm not sure that's how that expression goes, but I like it. I'm going to start using it that way.
All right.
I'm going to start walking up to random pickup games of basketball in my neighborhood and going like, wow, huge balls on that court.
Balls on this court here.
And then just winking and walking away. John Luke, whenever we look at quarterbacks, we know the free agent names, the big names, Derek Carr, Carson Wentz,
Mason Rudolph,
Marcus Mariota, Baker Mayfield. Those are the kinds of names we're looking at. It's really Derek Carr, and then there's quite a few teams that need a quarterback. The Texans, Colts, Panthers scream as like the top teams that need a quarterback. There's other ones that I would put in like a next tier.
Yeah,
like,
Giants.
You got to look at the Ravens as a team that goes there if Lamar Jackson does leave, right? Like it's an if right now, but they're in that second tier.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this in BYOB, but the Ravens GM did come out yesterday and say, Lamar and I are talking. We met recently. I'm optimistic.
Hopefully that means something gets done. I feel like Michael Scott in the dinner party episode, like that snip snap meme over and over and over again. It's like every day I change my mind on whether I believe he's coming back or I believe he's leaving.
Yeah, but you're right. Ravens have to be in that discussion at least somewhat. I think another team, you mentioned the Colts, right?
Yeah.
The Texans are another one.
Yeah. Panthers, Jets, Colts, Texans are probably the big four.
Seahawks, maybe. Bucks.
The Buccaneers seem like they want to upgrade that position. They haven't talked too confidently about Kyle Trask. But whenever we start trying to put names to these spots, where do you see a guy like Derek Carr ending up?
I think the popular or the favorite right now is probably still the Jets.
Yeah.
Probably Jets followed by the Saints. Where do I think he'll end up? I think he makes a lot of sense in the Jets, honestly. I think he fits their scheme. I think he fits what they're trying to do. Damn it, Simon. You got me saying scheme.
Scheme.
Why?
That's how it's spelled.
Scheme. Not scheme, just scheme.
You know what? I'm realizing now that that sauce at Kava that is spelled SKHUUG is probably not Shug. It's probably Skoog.
Skug.
Skug.
Give me some skug all over that.
It's probably not Shug. That's probably, I've probably been looking like a jackass at Kava for the past 4 visits, being like, pour that Shug all over my pita,
like, what?
baby.
Is he shortening sugar?
I'm just going to start saying scheme and seeing if they understand what I want on there.
But yeah, Derek Carr, Jets. Jets, I think, probably make the most sense. Do any other teams stand out over the Jets, Simon, or Jets firm number one for you?
Not over the Jets, but I think there's some more teams that make sense. The Saints, I think, still make sense for Derek Carr, and that doesn't look like a team that's phoning it in. They want a decent quarterback. I don't see the other big quarterback needy teams kind of making a play at Derek Carr, but those are the two that jump out to me. Jets and Saints. Buccaneers is the dream landing spot in my mind. And as a team like, with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, ready to go in that offense, I would love for Derek Carr to be throwing them the ball for them and for him for fantasy. And that's a winnable division. Like they can go down there and they can win that division, then losing the wild card round with Derek Carr.
Yeah, man, it's got to be a fun decision he's got in front of him, right? Like, where do you want to go play next? Here are your options. And like I think he's kind of lucky because of a weak free agent class.
Yeah.
Right. So like he kind of is the belle of the ball. It's got to be kind of fun.
Oh, the belle of the ball, Derek
Carr.
Yeah, the belle of the ball. How's it feel?
It feels pretty good.
You feel pretty?
I feel like the prettiest girl in all the land.
Tampa Bay would make me unbelievably happy. But
Tampa Bay would. I honestly had not thought about Tampa Bay until you just said, Simon. It does make a lot of sense.
I know Joey is hoping for that. He's, as a Tampa Bay fan, he's had his fingers, toes, and testicles crossed for the past 3 months trying to make this happen. It's like, please, for the love of God, let Derek Carr come down here.
Yeah.
Now, Dustin in the chat said, don't forget about Jimmy G.
Never. Jimmy G is probably the next best quarterback available. Gino, Jacoby Brissett. I think I put Jimmy G above all of them, above Marcus Mariota.
Now, for some reason, when I look at Jimmy G, I look at a team, and maybe this is unfair towards him, that isn't viewing this player maybe as the future or even the short-term future. Just a guy who can start and win some games. Come in, win some games. So the Carolina Panthers scream to me as a landing spot for Jimmy Garoppolo if he does leave the 49ers. I see Tommy in the chat. Or no, Hal in the chat saying in Indianapolis. Yeah, that's another team that I could see Jimmy G heading towards. But the Panthers scream out to me as a decent enough landing spot for him. And I think that'd be overall positive for DJ Moore. Like, look what he's done with PJ Walker, Sam Darnold, the discouraged corpse of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Cam Newton when he could only throw the ball 4 inches. And DJ Moore still, this is the first time he hasn't put up 1,000 yards in a season.
Yeah, he has been good for what he's had to deal with for his situation. So I'm with you. Simon. Jimmy G there would be interesting. I feel like Colts feels like a more natural fit for him. Maybe that's because the Carolina Panthers are the nobody team, the one that I always forget. They don't have as strong of an identity in my mind as some of the other teams. So maybe that's why I feel like he would more belong in the Colts. But he's also, I think, more of a, like, his play style kind of reminds me of Matt Ryan a little bit more. So maybe that's what it is.
That doesn't make sense. You've been to the Panthers' original home stadium more times than you've been to any other NFL stadium, and I'm confident of that.
That's true. That's true. And I've driven past their real stadium a bunch
and yet
of times.
Somehow they're a nobody team to you.
I don't know what it is, man. Yeah, you're right. I've probably driven past that city more times than most other cities of NFL teams. But
to anyone who lives in Charlotte, if you love your city, cover your ears.
Yeah, get better standards.
Cover your ears, because
go visit new cities.
That city is so bland. Just no character in that entire city. It just feels like they just plopped a bunch of people there and said, now you're a city, do it. And it's a bunch of people doing city things, but it doesn't feel like a city. It just feels busy just to be busy, and a city just to be a city. There wasn't a single interesting thing as I walked around. It was just standard restaurant, standard store, standard hotel. I was bored.
Yeah. It's kind of like your Cincinnati, Jake.
Oh, no, Cincinnati. It's not
this
boring.
Is a ghost town.
It's creepy. That town feels like someone took, we've talked about this, like someone took New York City and just got rid of all the people.
Yeah.
Like when you're walking through those streets, it feels like a city.
Just where are all the people? Where feels like there's supposed to be a lot of people here and they're not here.
This bizarre memory of walking down the streets and the bars are open, the doors are open, music is playing, and I'm looking in and I don't even see a bartender. Like where is everybody in these buildings?
We had to go to Kentucky to find people.
On the other side of the river?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where we went to the bar.
One time I stayed in a hotel right on that side of the river in Kentucky before you get into Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That hotel was not, it was $32 a night. So I just want to set the standards right there. My dad and I were just looking for the cheapest place to stay. We got stuck in traffic on our way up. Similar. We got into the room and someone left a nice 2 gifts for us. The first one in the fridge. There was a meatloaf in the fridge wrapped in tinfoil, not a full one, a partially eaten one.
Someone forgot their takeout.
Yeah. And then we found the other half of the meatloaf in a further state of digestion, sitting in the toilet with no toilet paper, just one large turd in our toilet, unflushed in our hotel room. If there's a turd sitting in the toilet, those sheets are not clean. If you didn't flush the toilet, you did not change the sheets on the bed. I'm positive of it.
Oh no.
We laid out towels and slept on top of the covers. It was nasty, man. So that's my opinion of it right across the river in Kentucky.
Yeah. That's
gross. Poop in the toilet. Hal wants to know, ever hang out in Detroit? Yeah. Jalen was starving in Detroit, trying to find food at 11 p.m. Nothing was open except for those damn Coney Islands.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. The places like you look at the menu and it would be like falafel, pizza, fettuccine Alfredo, sushi, cheese fries, cheese steaks. Like
You call those
anything
Coney
you wanted.
Islands?
I think so. Or Conies. Yeah. Hallen, he was saying all night Conies. I was overstimulated by those menus, intimidated by the number of things present on them. And so Jalen and I, we did not go.
We didn't go?
We found the weirdest bar that served Fruity Pebbles French toast with bizarre vibes that we sat at until 2 a.m. when we went to the airport.
That was weird.
That was bizarre. Speaking of Detroit, there's no quarterbacks going there, but a team that needs a quarterback or has been linked to one, John Luke, is the Tennessee Titans as a sleeper candidate for one of these free agent or rookie quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill potentially reaching the end of his career, or maybe the end of his career with the Titans at the very least. It seems like they don't believe in Malik Willis, which I don't blame them. He had multiple games with under 50 passing yards this year whenever you put him in. Like, I understand rookies need to develop, but you got to start with a baseline that's probably a little bit above where Malik Willis was starting this year. Yeah. So they could be a landing spot. Maybe not for one of the big names, but could you see them taking a shot on one of like the second tier, but maybe still younger quarterbacks like a Baker Mayfield or a Sam Darnold? Like, just bring one of these guys in, low risk, see if you can still develop them while Tannehill's still there, and then roll with it.
I don't see the big point for them. What's
look down.
I don't see the big point. I don't see the big point for them.
You must not be looking at Derrick Henry.
He is signed for another season. His base salary is $27 million. $5 million signing bonus, $36.6 million cap hit. It's just significant. I don't see the point of them cutting him though. 18.8 dead million dead cap. I think they would just keep Ryan Tannehill. Otherwise, they're slinging 4 QBs going into the season in their backfield. That's too much.
I don't think it's about necessarily cutting Ryan Tannehill, but about
for a middling talent, though,
planning for the future.
Who's there though that you're going to plan for the future?
That's what I'm saying.
Who's there on the waiver wire is what I mean.
I don't think they would. I'm asking, like, of the people that you can plan on the waiver wire, it's a pretty limited tier. They're not bringing in a Jimmy G. They're not bringing in one of these older guys. The names we're looking at as potential free agents for the Titans are Sam Darnold, are Baker Mayfield. Those are the young guys sitting here on the list. It's Kyle Allen. Like, some of these younger names that maybe could turn into something, but probably not, which is why I believe if they're taking a quarterback, it's in the draft. They're trading up to draft one of these two guys at the top if they're going to get a quarterback. Yeah. Because it just doesn't make sense in free agency. What does make sense is trading up to the 2 spot, grabbing a CJ Stroud, and letting him train for a year behind Ryan Tannehill. That makes sense.
Right. That would I could see them doing that. You think James Roday announces the pick?
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Has he done that for them before?
Yeah, he did that last year. He did the Malik Willis pick.
Oh, I didn't. We were watching that live together, and I don't remember that being James Roday.
Yeah, it's James Roday.
Sorry, James. I'm going to say no. He doesn't do it this year because he did it last year.
Forgiving you.
Thanks. Is that what he sounds like?
Yeah.
Is that how he talked the entire time that he was on the show?
Yep.
Just over and over and over again.
Yeah, as him and Scott Fish destroyed Maria and I on Fantasy Fortune. Just absolutely obliterated.
Also, Dustin said not in the first round. It was the third round.
Third round. Yeah.
That's where Malik Willis got drafted. Hallen here saying multiple games under 50 passing yards is hysterical. It sucks, but it is. It is hysterical. Malik Willis, I'm sorry, man. Not ready to step out there on the field in an NFL capacity.
Needs a little more time. A little bit more time.
A lot more time.
You think the Rams re-sign Baker Mayfield?
I think they should.
Yeah?
I think they should. I think if Baker
with Stafford there, you think Baker takes that?
I don't know. That was going to be the next thing I was going to say is I think if Baker's smart, he rolls here because this is a good situation for him. And he has seen now when put in a bad situation, bad coaching, bad weapons around you, a scheme that's unwilling to be manufactured towards your strengths. He doesn't succeed. With Bad's Brown coaches, he was all right. He went past them, but as that started going downhill, his play started going downhill. He's with the Panthers. That organization was a mess last year. He looks like trash. He flies over to LA, has one day with the playbook. Sean McVay in his ear during the game, and he looks fantastic, leads the Rams to victory.
Baker.
Exactly.
So
he needs Sean McVay whispering in his ear. And I think Baker Mayfield, sitting a year behind potential Hall of Famer Matthew Stafford, learning from Sean McVay, can be so ready to take over as the franchise quarterback whenever Stafford leaves.
When's Stafford going to leave, though? How old is Stafford? He's what, 36?
1
35?
million? He's approaching the end of his career for sure.
He's not quite there. He's like 32, 33. No, he's older than 35.
He's 35. There were
35.
rumors about him retiring this offseason. I think like Tom Brady has biased us on how long these quarterbacks play, right?
It's around late 30s is typically when someone like Stafford, who's been Stafford's a good quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. So he's going to play as long as he can. Barring injury, I think he's going to play probably I think the very conservative estimate might be like 3 more years at least.
I could see him retiring after this season.
I think it's possible. For sure.
I wouldn't have been shocked if he retired.
He's got a little gray hair coming in.
35. He's won a Super Bowl. He's played with 2 different teams. He's had a long career. He's made enough money for the rest of his life, and this Rams team looks like it's starting to go downhill. I could see him just riding off into the sunset with his Super Bowl. He's good. He got it done. And he is of the age where it's reasonable at this point to call it quits. It's a brutal game.
How tall is Matthew Stafford?
7 units of height.
He is retire, then.
6'3".
6'3". He might retire.
Why? Because he's so tall.
Yeah, so tall.
It's harder on his body because he's a tall boy.
Yeah, it's hard seeing that tall up.
It does make sense. But I would love to see Baker Mayfield re-sign in LA. I want to see him start. I want to see him succeed. But I think that's just such a good spot for him. And even if Stafford doesn't retire next season, spending a year learning from Stafford and McVay seems like a good career choice for Baker Mayfield. Then go land a starting job. Then go figure it out.
I'm with you. I think it is a good move. I'll be interested to see if he can stomach it, because I think it is going to take a strong self-awareness to be able to take that backup job and take the learning route, given his, where he's coming from, his prowess. Yeah, number one.
Counterpoint. That dude, even when he was the number 1 pick, lived his life with a chip on his shoulder. And if you think him sitting there in LA as the backup, he's not going to be pissy. He's not going to be like mad. He's going to be mad into like, oh, you don't think I can start? Effing watch this. Know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's how he handles that kind of like adversity and pressure, which is a blessing and a curse. You see him go out there and try to play hero ball during games and look just like a failure on the field. But when it comes to being put in a situation that might knock some people out, I feel like Baker Mayfield just rolls with it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Walk on to starting quarterback, transfers to a new team, has to earn the starting job, wins the Heisman, becomes the number 1 pick, goes to the Browns, gets told he's trash, breaks the rookie passing touchdown record, still gets told he's trash, takes that franchise to the playoffs and wins their first playoff game in 20 years, and then gets removed from the team, left, goes over to Carolina, plays like a buffoon, gets benched for Sam Darnold and PJ Walker, and then goes to LA 2 days later, wins a game with Sean McVay. Like, the mental aspect of his game is something I think can handle that.
Yeah, he's definitely been through the ringer.
He's been through it.
Simon, let's talk about some of these tight ends who are going to be free agents too, because there are quite a big, quite a decent list of names here. Mike Gesicki at the top of this list, free agent going into this offseason. Highly touted Mike Gesicki. He's 27 years old. Miami not utilizing him in the way that anybody would expect. Where do you see Mike Gesicki going?
The ground immediately after he catches the ball every time.
the yak hole.
The yak hole, Mike Gesicki. I cannot stand watching him play. It's so boring. And I think part of it is my expectations for when he entered the league. Like, dude is an athletic freak. I was so excited. I rookie drafted the hell out of Mike Gesicki. And then it's fine. It's fine. He gets open, he catches the ball, and then that's about it. He does not do anything after the catch. Now, teams that need a tight end, he seems like a good fit for Buffalo. Like Dawson Knox is an unrestricted free agent. I believe OJ Howard is as well. Throw Mike Gesicki up there in Buffalo as a guy to just get some yardage, not after the catch, before the catch, to fill that Dawson Knox role. Throw him in the end zone to catch a couple touchdowns. It's a division rival, but I could see him ending up there in Buffalo. Can you imagine moving from Miami to Buffalo?
Oh my God, that's the worst.
That's shocking.
Absolute worst. Buffalo would be interesting. I could see maybe the Saints. Could be interesting.
You don't have any love for Adam Troutman?
I mean, no.
Yeah. Saints would be all right. Whenever I think of teams that need tight ends, there's a bunch of – I feel like a lot of these other teams we're talking about bad teams. But I feel like there's a lot of tight end teams that need there's a lot of good teams that need tight end. And I see Dustin in the chat saying Dawson Knox is not a free agent.
No, they just signed him semi-recently, I thought.
Gotcha. I was reading an article. That's right. Oops, that's my bad. This article was dated before they signed him. Thanks, Dustin.
I was just thinking that they would bring him in to be Dawson Knox's role. Like they were just going to bring somebody in to replace him while he's still on the team.
See, no, that's my bad. So the Bills do not make sense then as a team that needs a tight end.
Bengals could be interesting.
Do they have a single tight end signed going into next year? Is Hayden Hurst re-signed there? Drew Sample?
That is a good question. Hayden Hurst is not re-signed there. He's a free agent. Sample?
He might
Sample's
still be
also a free agent.
Oh, so they don't have a single tight end on their roster signed next year, though, it seems like.
Oh, man. Mike Gesicki to the Bengals. No. That's a good move.
I'm fine with it. If the Bengals want to add him as a AFC North rival, I'm not too upset.
But there's a lot of tight end talent for them.
There is. The other big names, we got Dalton Schultz sitting here, Evan Ingram as well. And those are probably the big three whenever we're looking at free agent tight ends.
Yeah.
I mean, with Dalton Schultz walking, these teams are also tight end needy, right? The Dallas Cowboys likely need to sign a tight end with the departure of Dalton Schultz.
The Cowboys would be sweet.
I just feel like they're not going to grab one of that top tier if they let Dalton Schultz walk. Like, why sign Mike Gesicki if you could have just re-signed Dalton Schultz? They might go for an Austin Hooper or
I hate that.
A Hayden Hurst or a Kyle Rudolph or something like that. We're just going to get a boring little tight end down there in Dallas.
Yeah. You're probably right. And I guess that's better. Any tight end is going to have to compete with whoever the running back is in Dallas and CeeDee Lamb and their array of wide receivers. So it's probably not the best landing spot for tight ends.
As a CeeDee Lamb lover, I'm fine if they sign a nobody tight end to that team, if they get that going. Yeah. See where they end up. And Coop, you missed tight end talk. That's what you get for having to do that thing that JL said that you were going to have to do.
Get inside Mario Kart.
Get inside Mario Kart. That's it. Guys, we are going to be right back with our friend Brian Drake to play brackets. We are doing a dips bracket with our friend Brian Drake. So stick around here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the two-conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the two-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, Originally, this was geography based, right? We had these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like, how dare you? He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023, geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Yeah.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad, Ray. I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's
And
the
I think
problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%. That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such a thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass. You know,
Yeah,
at the
there you go.
airport.
Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. John Luke had to go chug some salsa really quick. He had a jar or two to take care of. But in the meantime, joining the show is our great friend, Brian Drake. You can find Drake on Twitter at Drake Fantasy. You should check out his shows. He's the host over at the Fantasy Football Hustle, and you can find him on the PFF show on Sirius XM. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today, my friend.
I can't believe I'm up this. Who gets out of bed before 8 a.m.? This is why I'm kidding. This is cool, though. I'm so happy to be with you guys. You do a kick-ass job. I was listening on my Better Sports app. Shout out Matty Deutsch. This morning while I was showering and hearing you guys, talk about Joey and his testicles being twisted, hoping that Derek Carr goes to Tampa Bay. So it's going to be fun.
It's the secret weapon. That's how you make anything happen. And, it just brings me such joy to know you were listening to me talk about Joey's testicles in the shower this morning.
I don't
What a moment.
Usually I just dream about it. Now I can actually listen.
I'm doing the dreaming for you. Your mind can be active on other things. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to come on, Brian. And I know it's early. If you watch the first hour of the show, my eyes are usually working on getting open. And then they open up by this time. But we brought you here to play some Fantasy Feud with us. JL is going to be competing against you whenever he finishes chugging that salsa. Before we get into it, though, we were just talking about free agent landing spots for some of these players. You mentioned Derek Carr, and I said Tampa Bay is my dream spot for him. Where do you want Derek Carr to end up? And then where do you think he's going to end up?
I think he's going to end up either in Indianapolis or Carolina from the latest news. Really, all the dominoes, I think, start and end with Aaron Rodgers, with the Jets. I think he puts everybody else in a holding pattern. So once we figure out if he's going to the Jets, then Derek Carr gets his place in line. I think Carolina makes some sense for him. Carolina was a sneaky team once Steve Wilkes took over. I thought Steve Wilkes should have been coach of the year, by the way. But I think he goes there. And then I like Jimmy G in Tampa. I know, as you mentioned, they're talking a little Kyle Trask, but with that, the age on that roster, they're still able to compete a little bit. There's no way you're rolling in Kyle Trask as your plan A. in Tampa Bay, unless you're saying we're going to rebuild and we're going to trade Mike Evans, which is a possibility with his contract. Yeah, I like Jimmy G going down there. And then who goes to Indy? I mean, they just have to draft somebody, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like they're in a position where they have to draft someone. They got to trade up and grab their guy. Otherwise, who are they rolling out this year? They're going to re-sign Carson Wentz and have him come back and throw the ball? No way.
That's the interesting part is being an Eagles fan by trade, I always look at who the backup quarterback's going to be. And I was looking at the backups out there, and I'm thinking, like, where could Wentz go? He needs to go someplace and really kind of rejuvenate his career. And in the last segment, you mentioned Baker Mayfield with the Rams. And I thought, what about Carson Wentz with the Rams as a backup? Just hang out, learn the system, under the tutelage of McVay. That wouldn't be a terrible spot. I don't think Matt Stafford plays a whole season. His back is not well. I don't think he plays a full season. I'm worried Tua isn't going to play a full season. That's another team, the Miami Dolphins. They have until May 1st to pick up the 5th-year option on Tua. And I put out on Twitter, I said, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm all in on trying to trade for Lamar. Like, you don't have a first-round pick this year, but you have future picks. Like, you have a team that's ready to win with elite playmakers on the outside and a pretty good offensive line. Like, let's go. What are we waiting for here? You're one hit away from being medically disqualified from playing again. Like, you're going to put all your eggs in the Tua basket? That's crazy to me.
I love Tua as a player, but I hear what you're saying. I would feel a lot more comfortable as a Dolphins player, Dolphins fan with Lamar Jackson coming in as my quarterback.
I bet you would.
Yeah, says the Ravens fan, John Luke. Yeah, how was that salsa? You go chug a couple jars in the meantime?
I chugged it all. Yeah.
That pregame appetizer, getting ready to try to take down Brian Drake in some fantasy feud. We got Scott
never
Fish
won a game on your shows, by the way. I'm like, no. I've got to get off the schneid here.
Maybe today's the day. Thursday, March 2nd, 2023 might be the day Brian Drake takes
March?
on his first. It's March. Can you believe it?
Holy wow.
Came out of nowhere. March, and I got welcomed in with a 90-degree day yesterday. Man, my AC already can't keep up. Scott Fish in the chat saying he doesn't know how the Bucs are going to afford Jimmy G is the only problem with him. $55 million over cap.
It's a great point.
Until proven otherwise, I'm going to continue to go by the philosophy that the cap is fake and teams will figure it out if they want to figure it out over and over and over again. They figure out how to make it work.
And if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, you can't go out there and expect a top of the market deal. Really, if you're Jimmy, maybe he even takes a 1-year prove it deal to try to show people, hey, I can stay healthy. I'm going to bet on myself. Do a 1 year. There's always teams with quarterback. He's getting up there in age too. So it wouldn't be the dumbest thing in the world. Maybe he takes a 1 year, $25 million contract or something like that.
He feels like one of those guys that every team that needs a quarterback, it would be a huge upgrade to start him, but no team wants him as their long-term quarterback. Kind of like a wildly different player from Ryan Fitzpatrick, but similar level of skill in like how teams sign him and how teams play him.
Yeah, it's a great point.
See Jimmy G jumping around. Well, guys, let's get into our game of fantasy feud here. How this game works is we've got a series of prompts, something like no, that's not how it works. It'll be like the top 7 PPR tight ends from 2022. You guys will buzz in by saying your name and try to name the top option on that list. If you do name it, it's going to work a lot like the popular TV show Family Feud. It is now your turn to choose whether you want to pass or play. If you choose play, you're going to try to name as many of the rest of the items on that list as you can before you get 3 strikes. Get them all, you're going to bank those points, but get 3 strikes before you do, it's going to go to your opponent. They just have to name one of the remaining, and they will steal all of those points. Now, if you choose to pass, it's going to go the same way. Just your opponent starting, you'll have the opportunity to steal. The only other rule, if you name anything besides the top option, your opponent will have the chance to try to name the top option to steal that round if they want to. Otherwise, we will just roll with the person who guessed. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, you're 0 for 3. Here we go.
0 for 4, 1 and 3.
0 for like 403, so it's all good.
Coop's been on a winning streak lately. He's been just beating us down on this show. Here is your first prompt. Your first prompt is...
Do I have to buzz in if I know the answer or something?
You say your
Raise my
name.
hand. Oh.
Say your name if you think you know the number one answer on this list. The first one is the 9 largest cities without an NFL team in the United States. Okay, John Luke.
Largest cities without an NFL team.
And this is population-wise.
Let's go with Austin.
Austin is number 4 on this list, JL, which means, Brian, if you would like to try to name the number one to get the opportunity to play this one, you can. Otherwise, JL will choose whether he wants to pass or play.
So I have to throw in. I can't just make him play.
Oh, if you don't want to guess, you can have him take it for sure. Unless he passes.
I get to choose to pass or play though.
Oh, okay. So I better just throw one out. Let's see. Biggest city without a team. Well, I live in Syracuse. That's probably not it. I think some major media markets here.
How far is Syracuse from Albany?
2 hours. My wife is from Albany. I go there all the time.
Nice. I'm gonna be there soon.
Nice, man. You moving there or just visiting?
Wedding.
Oh, okay. I was married in Albany. Stateroom. Beautiful place.
Yeah, I'm going to your wedding.
Oh, great. My bride showed up early. She was supposed to be here till June. All right. I'm going to say, oh, boy.
When I'm seeing some guesses come in the chat, keep them coming.
I'm going to say Orlando.
Orlando, unfortunately, is not on this list, Brian, which means, JL, you get to choose whether you want to pass or play this one.
Oh,
let's see.
Play it.
I will play it.
Okay. So, Joe, you've got number 4 already with Austin. Orlando has also been guessed, but there are 8 more left.
I can't think of any big cities at the moment.
Can we do the show like 12 hours from now?
When brains are working.
Question: does Boston count for the Patriots?
Yes. The Patriots, even though it says New England, they are in Boston.
Okay. All right, let's go with Sacramento.
Sacramento is not on this list, JL. That is 1 strike.
All right, off to a great start here. Big
Tim in the chat asking, does New York City count? They're counting the Giants and the Jets, even though they're in New Jersey as the New York City teams. So it will not be on this list.
Right. Okay.
I wanted to be fair. No tricks over here.
All right.
Also, we have an update from Keith. Orlando's population in 2021 was 309,154.
So yeah, that's
shocking to me.
That seems very small.
They must not be counting people in costumes.
That's pretty important.
All the Disney employees don't count.
Houston does have a team, because I would guess them.
What you got, John Luke?
Let's go with I'm just trying to think of big, giant Texas cities. Let's go with San Antonio.
Got him on my list. I'm making
number 1 on the list is San Antonio.
No way.
Population of 1.5
Simon.
million. It's the 7th largest city in the country. Doesn't feel like it down here, but it is apparently.
Wow.
So, Joe, you've got 2 and you've got 1 strike.
1 strike. I've gotten 2.
And you took away a potential one from Drake, who was going to steal it from you.
Let's go with San Diego. Since
San
they
Diego
no longer have a team.
Is number 2 on this list. Population of 1.4 million.
My list is dwindling here. It's not looking good.
San Diego. How many do I have to name?
9.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Oh shoot. And I've named
Albany
3.
might be on the list.
I should have passed. Why did I not pass? All right. My next guess, I'm gonna go with.
So Dustin said San Antonio has the XFL. Yes, we newly have the San Antonio Brahmas here in San Antonio, coached by Hines Ward.
Really, Hines Ward?
Pretty cool. Yeah,
pretty sweet. All right, let's go with Let's go with. I know that's wrong. Let's go with. I can't think of a single city.
I'm gonna bonk you if you take too long.
Let's go with Fort Worth.
Fort Worth is number 5 on this list.
Oh, come on.
I'm just gonna name Texas cities.
What else you got?
El Paso.
El Paso is number 8 on this list.
Oh,
Jesus.
There's another one of those Texas cities. What is it? It's
Mr. Campers came in and said Dayton, Nevada. What are we guessing?
Dayton, Nevada.
These are the largest cities without an NFL team. You
Okay.
got 1 strike. You've guessed 5 of them.
Let's
Your
go
bonk
with
timer is on, just so you know.
Bonk Timer's back on. That's fair. Let's go with Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia
It's
is
tiny.
not on the list. That is
It's
2
miniature.
strikes, JL. One more chance here.
I'm huddling the family in the corner. We're looking
Richmond.
over at the board.
Richmond, Virginia is not on this
Damn it.
list.
Oh boy.
So JL's going to score 5-point streak unless you can steal one of these right here. There are 4 remaining cities on the list.
I think I've got one here, and he clued me in because he thought of former NFL cities. And I'm going to go with St. Louis.
St. Louis is not
Whoa!
on the list, Drake. I love the logic, but
Oh,
JL's
no.
going to bank those points. The remaining cities were number 3, San Jose, California.
Oh, I would have
Number
never got
6,
that.
Columbus, Ohio.
Oh.
Number 7, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And number 9 was Portland, Oregon.
Portland,
so those were the
Oregon.
9 largest cities.
My
without
next
an
2
NFL.
guesses were Birmingham, Alabama, and Memphis, Tennessee. So I would not have gotten anywhere close.
My favorite thing about Birmingham is every year just the stories that come out of the bowl game that takes place in Birmingham. I feel like every year the teams are like, holy shit. that
What the hell
stadium
was
is
that?
awful. Like every year players are like, get me the hell out of Birmingham.
I think about that all the time because where I go, Syracuse always goes to some terrible bowl. And I'm like, that's not even a reward for these kids. They went to the Pinstripe Bowl this year in New York City. Like, we're from New York. That's not I don't want to go to a
Just
game
work.
in Annapolis, Maryland, or whatever.
Send me to
Every game should either be
Hawaii or
like in
Bahamas.
Orlando or Miami.
Right.
Or New Orleans.
Yeah.
the
They
players
just
seem to
rotate.
like
There's a
going to
bowl
New
game
Orleans.
every night.
Right.
It's like Tuesday night's ladies' night. Wednesday's the Fiesta Bowl. Thursday's bottomless nachos. Like it just goes down the list.
Bottomless nachos sounds delicious.
Are the nachos bottomless or am I bottomless? While we're eating the
The hangover from ladies' night. I don't know.
nachos? So
2
obviously,
nights before.
the FYF Bowl, where is it played? Birmingham.
Birmingham, yeah.
Without a doubt, it's in Birmingham. Well, Joe, you've got a 5-0 lead here, but we got some more game left. You guys ready for round 2?
Yeah.
Ugh, I guess.
Drake said, oh, if I have to.
Jesus.
All right, guys. Well, here is your next prompt. What I need are the 8 active coaches with the best winning percentage for their career with no minimum games.
All right, I got it.
Okay. What do you think?
Best winning percentage. I'm going to say, just start throwing guys out. I'm going to say no minimum on their games.
You said active, right?
Active coaches, no minimum on number of games. And the active
Nick,
coaches are the best.
Nick Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni is number 3 on this list. So, John Luke, would you like to take a shot at one ahead of it, or do you want to let
Jeff
Drake play this
Saturday.
one? Jeff Saturday is not on this list. If he
Oh.
would have stopped after one game, maybe he would have made it. So, Drake, you can choose whether you want to play or pass this one.
How many do I have to name?
There are 8 on the list.
Oh, Jesus. It's a lot of guys. The hell. Let's try to name some guys here.
Okay.
All right. So we got Sirianni. And we're going to say Sean McVay.
Sean McVay's number 8 on this list.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is number 5 on this list.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin is number 7 on this list.
We're rolling here. I like it. Okay.
It's a good
now-
question.
All right. So we got through those guys. Boo, 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 boo. Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll is not on this list. And I think the qualifier
way.
there is this is coaching record, not necessarily head coaching record,
Oh, really?
is what I believe is going on here, but I'm not positive.
That's
If I
gotta
could
be-
get a
that's gotta be
fact check from the producer
That's
on that one on
interesting.
Daboll.
All right. Well, I
So
got the
we'll
big
put a
X.
tentative strike there, but we'll get the fact check from Keith on that one.
All right. How about Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll is not on this list. So that is going to be 2 strikes. So Keith said apparently Daboll's winning percentage was too low. as a head
How
coach.
about-
What was their record this year?
What were they, like 10-7 or something?
Oh, yeah. So that he had a 55.9 winning percentage, and that is outside of the top 8. Sean Payton was an 8th with 63.1% winning percentage.
Jeepers. All right. So I got to keep rolling here. I think of guys who are traditionally winners.
So to remind you, the
Sean
names you've
Payton.
guessed. Sean Payton. You already guessed Sean Payton. You got that one. Oh, no. You guessed Sean McVay, and
Sean
I gave you
McVay.
the points for Sean Payton, but we're just going to count that. That was my mistake. So Sean Payton is number 8 on this list. The other names you've already guessed are Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, and Nick Sirianni.
How about Shanahan?
Kyle Shanahan is not on this list, unfortunately.
Damn.
So you got 5 of them, or no, 4 of them.
Well, that's a
John
valiant
Luke.
effort on my part.
If you can name any of the remaining 4, you will steal these points from Brian Drake. Otherwise, he's running away
It
with
was
them.
Peyton, McVay, Sirianni, and who was the fourth one?
It was Peyton, Tomlin, Reid, and Sirianni.
Tomlin, Reid, and Sirianni. Okay. Oh, so Peyton, McVay was guessed, just wasn't right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Mike
Got everything
McCarthy.
crossed over there? You're going with what, Joe?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy is
that sounds
not
good.
on this
No.
list, which means, Drake, you're getting those 4 points, making the score 5-4. And it's going to come down to some of these last rounds right here. Number 1 on the list, Kevin O'Connell. 1 year coaching, a 72.2% winning percentage there with the Vikings. Matt LaFleur is number 2. 4 years coaching there
Oh
in
my
Green
god.
Bay.
Great.
Number
one.
McCarthy
4,
was such a dumb guess.
you guys are going to be so mad about this one. Bill Belichick
Oh,
is sitting at
boo.
number 4
We're
on
idiots.
this list. And then at number 6, we've got Sean McDermott of the Bills is number 6.
Yeah.
So Kevin
boys.
O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, Bill Belichick, and Sean McDermott were the missed ones. But nice job, Drake, on 4 points to your score. It is now 5-4.
Anybody's
between the
game.
2 players. You
Might
guys
be
ready
most
for the next
points
round?
ever scored.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Here's your next prompt. What I want to know are the top 6 free agent wide receivers with the most receiving yards last season.
JL.
Hey, Jay.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Juju Smith-Schuster is number 1 on this list. Would you like to play or pass?
Pass, please.
Okay, Drake, JL
Gee,
passed
thanks.
it to you. You got the number 1 on this list, which
Uh,
means you got to get 2 through 6.
okay. Well, let's go with Jacoby Myers.
Kobe Myers is number 2 on this list with 804 receiving yards last season.
God, do I dare say his teammate, Nelson Aguilar?
Nelson Aguilar is not in the top 6, unfortunately. So that is 1 strike.
Free agent wide receivers. Boy, this is such a bad class, too. My goodness.
Yes, not the world's best class. I see the guesses flying in the chat. Some good ones, some bad ones.
I'm trying to think who the hell's a free agent wide receiver. That's the tough part with this bad crew.
A reminder to everybody in the chat, play along. Throw your guesses in there. We love to have them. And the prompt was free agent wide receivers with the most receiving yards. We're looking for the top 6. So far, Juju Smith-Schuster and Jacoby Myers have been guessed correctly. We've got 1 strike with Nelson Aguilar.
Boy, I'm going to get real off the board here. How about Mac Hollins?
Mac Hollins is number 4 on this list.
Oh, my God.
690 receiving yards. Nice job getting that one, Drake.
I was just trying to think of teams. I'm looking at like logos on the wall. I'm like, who might have a free agent receiver? Oh, boy. Who else is a free agent receiver? Oh, no, he didn't play that much this year. These are tough, man.
Keith, the menace back there. Also, I just had a little voice pop up in my ear and say, Simon, I missed one. So
I had that voice too.
we are staying tuned to find out which one was missed.
Oh no.
Okay, I got it in there. No, you can't guess that one because it's in the chat for you. If it comes
All
to
my
you to
chats are
steal.
closed.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Then you
boy.
can guess that one all you want, including the host chat.
Yeah.
There we go.
Boy, I'm struggling with these here. Jeepers.
You got 3. There's 4 left. We're actually doing 7 now because we just added one that was forgotten on there, but it was not one that had been guessed yet. So it's okay.
Randall
It's okay.
Cobb. I don't know.
What a guess. That is incorrect, unfortunately.
I was going
That's-
to jump out of my basement here if that was correct.
It's 2 strikes.
I had that name written down.
Did you? Oh, God, yeah, this is tough. This is such a terrible class. I was trying to think, who the hell is actually a free agent wide receiver? MVS.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, unfortunately, is incorrect. That's going to be 3
no.
strikes, which means there are
Good
4
luck.
remaining, JL. If you get one of these, you keep the lead. If you miss it, Drake takes the lead at the end here.
All right, I'll go with the guy who MVS was recently trying to assuage to come to his team, and I'll go with MVS was trying to get him to come to the Chiefs, and I'll go with Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard is number 3 on this list, JL. You are going to
Nice
steal
job.
those points. The last 3 were Darius Slayton at 724 yards coming in at number 5. Paris Campbell
Wouldn't
coming
have
in at
gotten,
number 6.
wouldn't
at
have gotten
581
either of
yards.
those.
Oh, and then just wait for this last one. Richie James
Oh,
is
of
number
course.
7
Oh.
at 569 receiving yards.
Thank God you left me Lazard. That was the only like
I didn't think he was
year
a
one
free
that it
agent.
was left.
I thought he was still under contract. Because that's why I came up with the Randall Cobb. I'm like, someone's got to be leaving there.
Yeah.
It might be Randall Cobb too. They're all leaving. Unless
I think if we hadn't talked about that MVS trying to get Alan Lazard over to the Chiefs, I probably would have not thought he was a free agent either, because it doesn't feel like people have been talking about it much.
no, he doesn't feel like a free agent. He just feels like a Packer.
Yeah.
He looks like a Packer. He feels like a
Looks
Packer.
like a Packer, feels
I
like
bet
a
he
Packer.
smells like a Packer.
Oh, definitely smells like a Packer.
Cheesy
That
and
very
cold.
cheesy smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
Oh.
Like when you
That's
open
Jesus.
that tub of cheese balls and you just put your face right in it.
Oh God.
Midwest.
A
Same way
bucket-
Scott Fish smells.
A bucket of cheese balls is one of life's greatest joys. Like the big ones this tall, because nothing
Oh,
feels
yeah.
more ridiculous than just like shoving your hand into a bucket of processed corn snacks with cheese powder on them.
Oh,
Eat
there's
them all day
corn in
long.
there.
One person could legitimately eat an entire huge bucket of that.
Oh, without
you
a
don't go
doubt.
full on.
No,
At
you
that
can-
point,
Fantasy
Like, I look
Football
at it-
Expo contest right there. Cheese ball eating.
how many cheese balls can you eat?
And
no, it's going to be a race because we all know everyone can eat a tub. First one to down the tub wins.
I love it.
At
Get
my
Bob Malone on the
graduation,
phone.
my whole family came down for my graduation from college, and we rented out a lake house, and there was like my grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins running around. Like a couple friends came up, and one of my friends, she showed up with a bottle of champagne in each hand, chugged them on a tube in the lake, and then passed out in the doorway hugging a bucket of cheese balls.
Nice.
And she has
Legend.
like legendary status among my family. The friend that just showed up, chugged 2 bottles of champagne, and then passed out on the floor in front of my grandma hugging a bucket of cheese balls.
And that's how I met my wife.
Were you the cheese ball hugger?
Yeah, that woman now. It's like that'd be a great story for like and the kids, and that's how I met your mother.
That's how I met your mother.
Well, Brian, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on and play some fantasy feud with us. JL, unfortunately, is going to take home the victory today, but this just means it's part of your story arc. You're going to come back, and that victory is going to be ever so sweeter whenever it does come.
One of these years, I'll get off.
One of these years.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
gentlemen.
Drake.
Great show. A lot of fun. You guys are the best.
You're the best, my friend.
Everyone, if you're not already following our friend Brian, go and follow
Do
him on
it.
Twitter right now at Drake Fantasy. Truly an incredible follow and one of our great friends in this space. We are going to be right back with some more games and some more talk. Jalen and I are going to pitch you some of our best and worst ideas. At least they're best in our own mind, maybe worse than the other person's mind. And then we've got a best dips bracket that we are going to do with our friend Alfredo Brown of Football Guys. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
I am, because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first kind of, where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice.
So,
Your wife did a good job.
yeah, you may want to talk to your wife. I would say about 13, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep and you got to go out and deliver it. So yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day, because somebody was like, we have the technology to, like, you know, track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out, you know, what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you know, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then like immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have
what I love.
satellite.
Like, if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you, like, first they just go, here. And then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, you know, they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have, like, you know, satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's like, yeah, and not to mention, like, that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball like right into his face. Right, like he's coming over to spot it, and it's like every other time the player's just like, here you go, here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Like, is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it, because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players are just slamming them down. It's like they've become Dilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just like the only publicity is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into some Here's the Pitch. We got a lot of ideas cooking up in our heads that we got to get out. We got to share with people. We just have to. John Luke, I know you got a whole note of incredible ideas. I'm excited to hear which one you're bringing to the table today.
I just realized this one is written twice on my list here at different points in the list. So at two different separate times, I had this idea and I put it in this list. Real life for closed captioning. That's the
subtitles.
Idea. Subtitles for real life.
How do they work? Is it with like new augmented reality technology? Like, is it going to be like AR subtitles, or is this going to be something that physically shows up?
I think that's the most likely first iteration is AR. Since we don't have a way to just dynamically pull up matter as we desire to make real life closed captioning, like without some sort of AR interface that is in between putting that up. So I think that's the first attempt, and we improve from there.
This is a game changer. The immediate thoughts are pretty simple. Just I can hear what you're saying. If we're talking in person and you mumble a little, I can hear you. If my girlfriend's in the other room and I got closed captions turned on and she says something and I can't hear her over
You don't have to
the
do
washing
what?
machine. Exactly. I don't have to go, what? What? I can just
I
read
couldn't
it.
hear you.
But the implications are so much further than that. Because I assume if you have the technology to put closed captions of the language someone is speaking, we also have translator technology that's pretty damn good. Google Translate's
Should
pretty
work.
good at this
Yeah.
point in time. You could then have universal translation on anybody speaking any language.
Right.
You could go to any foreign country, put those glasses on. Maybe you can't talk back. Know what I mean? You have to use a translator to get that, but you can at least understand what's going on.
Yeah. And I think you could talk back. You just talk back in your own language.
And they got the glasses too.
Right. And it's translating to them.
You're right. As long as you were someplace that maybe was expecting tourists.
Yeah.
You would be able to
They
talk
had to have
with
the
anybody.
glasses.
Yeah, you can't just like show up in like a random village in rural Thailand and have the people understand what you're saying.
Unless you bring 2 pairs with you. We sell them in pairs.
We sell them in pairs, and you bring one and you hand it to people that you're trying to talk to.
Yeah. And just hope
Yeah,
they
but
don't
they
run
have,
away.
they have no idea why you're handing them glasses at first because they can't understand you at all.
Yeah.
Not
So you
even
just
a
gotta,
little
you
bit.
gotta do the whole trust me. Just trust me.
Also, Jay brings up a good point. The mic would be close to the person. Oh, that doesn't change. They still can't see it. What is it just going to start? There's speakers on my glasses too, and I'm going to start talking, and it's going to start screaming in Thai behind me. That sounds distracting.
While you're in Mexico.
While I'm in Mexico. Why is it screaming?
I'm sorry,
Thai?
it's broken.
I got it stuck in Thai. I am so sorry.
You just can't even think because you just have someone screaming in Thai all the time.
Also, Jay said, read my first comment, dummy. Maybe I won't, and I'll just make you look dumb. Maybe I'll just make you look dumb. And he said, what about those LED glasses that words slowly scroll across? So it translates my words for them in LED like raver glasses across the front of my eyes.
That would look so dumb. You're just sitting there with it scrolling like you're a news show or something.
Or like it's 2009 and you just got the latest tech for raves. This is the newest rave gear.
You're going as Times Square for Halloween.
I know this is off topic, but I just thought of it with the word rave. I saw an ad yesterday for a rave next Saturday in San Antonio. It is a Shrek rave. It is a Shrek rave that is going on, a Shrek themed rave, and the advertisements are absolutely preposterous. They are fully giving into the fact that this is bizarre. What's their slogan? It says, it's just dumb, or it's dumb, just come have fun. And then it says, cool is dead. Who cares? Is the next part of their
What does that
advertisement.
mean?
They
Cool
said,
is dead?
Cool is dead. Who cares? It's dumb. Just come have fun. Shrek rave. I don't know if you can.
Interesting. They're going like the opposite route of like not trying to seem cool, like intentionally trying to seem uncool.
Shrek daddy.
Shrek daddy.
Shrek daddy's going to be raving all night. He could use those glasses.
I feel like before maybe a year ago, Shrek did not come up as often as it does.
Maybe.
And then all of a sudden, somebody in my circle started bringing up Shrek, and now it just comes up all the time.
J-Wall.
Is that who it is?
J loves Shrek.
Why?
He's a big Shrek guy. I'll tell you when it started.
Big fan of Shrek. I just don't understand like the fetishization of Shrek.
How it started was on pub trivia night. During the offseason last year, we did pub trivia every other Thursday for the most part. We missed it sometimes, but mostly did pub trivia every other Thursday. And if you guys didn't join us for that, what it was is we would get on there. We would use the Sporkle Party app, and we would put together trivia sets that we would host for everybody watching. We'd get some people coming in there. And J-Wall was losing over and over again, but said, I will win if we do the Shrek pack. If we do the Shrek pack, I will win. I know a lot about Shrek. And then it just kept coming up over and over again.
Now, yeah, it's just all the time now. Okay. Well, thanks for solving that mystery.
I just thought of another solution, Jail, that doesn't involve LED scrolling across or the other person having glasses.
Yeah.
It does require the other person to be able to read in their native language, but
okay.
I think that's a fair assumption. Like maybe you'll encounter people that can't, but that's okay. You're just going to have a hard time communicating with them.
Right.
you have some sort of screen that you wear, and they make flexible screens now, whether it's in a necklace or it's part of your shirt, but something that you can wear that can display here. And normally it cannot have the words on it. You can make it fashionable, but then as you're speaking, the microphone that you have translates for you in your set language on your chest for the other person. So you are seeing their closed captions in your eyes and giving them closed captions on your chest.
Oh, I like that. Giving and receiving. It's like a 69 of closed captioning.
It's like the 69 of closed captioning in foreign countries. That's exactly how I would describe it, JL.
Nailed it. All right. Well, Simon, what's your pitch? Let's hear
So I
it.
see in the chat after I said Shrek rave, Jay said, so J-Wall will be in town. Huh. So he knows J-Wall loves Shrek.
I see. Okay.
My pitch, JL, it's definitely not as useful as yours, but it's something that I want, that I think about regularly. And I've brought it up on the show, but I'm putting it formally down as a here's the pitch now. And I want someone who hears this to make it happen. Someone who loves House Hunters International as much as I do. Leanne and I, that is probably our most watched show. When we're just looking for something casual to watch that we don't have to think about, that we can just throw on, it's always House Hunters International. And the couples that they bring on there, it is always a spectacle. There's a couple tropes that they fall into, like the person who loves everything and the guy who's mad about everything in the apartment. There's the two people who are like, one wants open floor plan and the other wants 75 rooms. One person who says our budget is strictly $300 and the other one who says I could go up to $7,000. Like 90% of the couples that appear on this show, it seems like disaster. The camera's left just in time. I want a after the final rose, like what they do on The Bachelor style podcast for House Hunters International. I want someone to go and investigate these couples that grew up in rural Wisconsin for their entire life, then decided they were going to move to Bangkok, Thailand on a whim after dating for 6 months. I want to see what they're doing 3 months later. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see how they're enjoying it. If they're still together, what that shock is like for them being in a new city. Because I always leave and I'm sitting there and like, before I can even get invested in the next episode, I'm like, they got divorced. Like,
I know it. I know it.
And I need the story. I am nosy and I need to know how this played out. So I need someone to create a podcast that is the after stories of the people on House Hunters International.
I like that idea because I think it's almost like undermining. It feels like you're almost undermining the entertainment huzzah of the show, where you're just like,
away.
Yeah, you're completely taking the facade away, but in a kind of like innocent way of just simply following up, of being like, what is going on? Like, what's your real story? And I bet you that would be pretty illuminating to people what actually happens on those shows.
Oh, and it'll be illuminating to how they cast those shows as well, right? Like
how much of it is a performance, yeah.
If these episodes are all interesting, then we know that they're purposefully casting people that probably shouldn't be buying a home together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if we get a bunch of like crazy stories from these episodes, then we can look at House Hunters International and be like, hey, maybe get some more secure couples. Maybe people that have like been together 15 years and agree on their lifestyle.
I had a friend. It was like a friend that I made through, it's like Maria's coworker friends, and one of the guy was a camera guy for one of those shows. Like, he had done to go to the different locations and film it. And he told me all the background stuff. I don't know if it was House Hunters International or just a show similar to that.
Similar.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fake. It's mostly fake.
We had a friend on beachfront bargain hunt renovations on HGTV, and we got the same story from them. But it's still fun watching the episode. And I will say, what's not fake is they do move and they do have a house there. Know what I mean? Yeah. So like, even if the staging of it is fake, that doesn't really affect this premise. Because it's still two people that I think probably shouldn't be living together in a foreign country who happen to be living together and are financially connected. Like, there's tension and drama there. It's built in.
You're right. And we got Kevin Frank in the chat said rent for vacations. I don't remember what he was referring to.
Maybe that's his. Here's the pitch.
Rent for vacations. Rent for vacations.
What does that mean? Let's break down what rent.
I'm trying to break it down.
I think you're describing
you pay
vacation rentals.
You pay rent to go on vacation,
or is it like
rent while you go on vacation?
How about this?
Airbnb.
Your place vacation is included in rent, but it has to line up with when they Airbnb your place or rent your place out. So like short term, like this could work in certain places. Like let's say in Austin, during Austin city limits, part of your or South by Southwest, even bigger example, like every single room available in Austin gets rented out during South by Southwest. They just are rented out for absurd prices. So for a landlord, it could make more sense to say, I will send you on vacation during South by Southwest with this budget, right? In order to rent your place out during the South by Southwest week.
That is a good idea. But then people will just be living in your place.
I've seen this in practice before, having worked in Augusta. I worked at Club Car in Augusta, Georgia. And it was common practice. I remember the first Masters week that I worked there, I showed up to the office and it was empty. There was no one in the office. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And I started asking around. And the people that live in Augusta, generally what they do, it's pretty common practice, unless they're working the Masters. They will rent their house out during Masters week to pay their mortgage for the year. They can rent out their house for like 15, 20K for the week. If they've got a house that can sleep 10 to 12 people during Masters week, they're close to the course. There is unbelievable money and a real limited supply of places to stay in Augusta. They'll take a week-long vacation, head out of town, avoid the crowds, avoid the people, and pay their mortgage for the whole year.
Would you be comfortable letting somebody sleep in your mattress?
If they're paying my rent for a year, you can do whatever you want to my mattress. Like if you're taking care of the mortgage, you can pee on my mattress.
Ew.
I can afford a new mattress if I'm not paying rent. I can buy a new mattress once a year. Or you just have a guest mattress and you put the other one in storage.
I guess if the math checks out, you could completely replace your mattress.
Every year.
Or just put like a ton of covers on it.
Or just use the one that you're doing for the first time as the fake one, buy a new one and swap them out. Rent
it's going to be hard to hide a king mattress, but in my tiny house.
In your tiny house. You probably got a storage unit somewhere.
Probably, yeah. Dustin said it's completely staged. Usually these people already have a house in that country and have lived there for some time. He said, my wife's old boss was on House Hunters International. Simon, you might have seen Dustin's old boss.
I've seen a lot of that.
His wife.
Do you have any idea how many seasons of House Hunter International there are, JL?
3.
No, the season I'm watching right now is 162. And
I've watched one season.
And they're not like seasons where like, sometimes they're like 160 seasons.
I still
like
feel pretty confident about my statement though.
Which one?
That you might have seen Dustin's wife's old boss.
I've seen probably 20 seasons of House Hunters International. And
that's a good amount.
What's crazy is that still puts me at like less than a third chance of having seen the episode with Dustin's boss in it. Maybe slightly more, depending on timing. Like maybe he wouldn't have been on one of the older ones. How many seasons? I've seen probably 20 seasons. And there's 20 plus episodes in a season. It's not like they're short little seasons. They are full ass seasons.
There were 160 episodes in a season.
No, I'm on season 162 or something along those lines. I'm on a season in the 160s. The seasons themselves have 20 plus episodes in them though.
I see. So you've seen 400 episodes.
Over
or
10 years.
Ballpark.
You know what I mean? I've been watching it for a while.
Yeah.
Joe, you got another pitch for us?
I do. Oh, but before we do, Jay said, I think Kevin meant the closed captioning glasses/screen you could rent on vacations.
Oh, you could rent it to people. Oh, you could like have them available at tourist destinations.
For people on vacation,
they could
rent them out. Dude, that makes so much more sense than what you came up with, Simon.
I don't know. Pretty good idea, though.
That was a pretty good idea.
But that makes way more sense. Like you show up in China and at the airport, you can rent those for the week. You can just rent them at the Shanghai airport.
Smart. I would totally rent those out every time I went abroad.
I would rent those so hard that
I would rent the entire booth out. I'd be covered in glasses.
I wear glasses on my butt. Translate these farts. How's that fart sound in French, loser? Oui, indeed.
Sounds sophisticated. Nick in the chat said, better late than never. Good morning, good looking guys. Good morning, good looking guy. All right, my next idea here is a good one. It's a dumb one, though. It's a good one, though. The next one is an AI model to help you freestyle rap. So while you're rapping, it's listening to you and feeding you different rhyme threads, basically.
So it's not free. It's not going to automatically make you a good freestyle rapper. You're still going to have to, you got to have some flow.
Yeah.
You got to be able to like create them quickly on the spot, but it's going to start feeding you options to make it a little bit easier to up that game.
This isn't one of the dumber ones. This is one of the, this would be pretty sweet.
No, this would be pretty cool. I feel like it would make freestyle rap battles a lot more commonplace, which I think is something we need in this day and age. Like, enough of all this conflict. You got conflict, you got beef. Let's wrap it out, man. Me and you. We can get our beef out there.
Load up your whatever you call this thing. Your rhyme deck. Your rhyme deck, your Drake bot.
iDrake.
Your iDrake. You whip it out and you guys just battle. Like same as like Pokemon battle. There's like rules. It's the same thing.
I feel like it's like kind of like I've seen things that just throw out a word in the middle of freestyle and you have to incorporate it in there. It's like
Harry
that.
Mack style.
Yeah, but the opposite. Right? Like it's throwing out words to help you instead of words to try to throw you off that you then have to incorporate into what you're already doing.
Yeah.
Have you ever legitimately freestyle rap battled?
No.
Me neither. Would you like to?
Sure.
Have you ever publicly rapped?
No. Well, yeah. Yeah, I have.
As a performance?
Not like seriously, no. Like just mess with my friends.
I'm wondering if you ever stood on a stage and rapped for a group of people.
No, I've done poetry.
That's similar. Poetry, rap is poetry, but with a beat.
Yeah.
So that counts. I've seen you do poetry at an open mic night.
Yeah.
Did you, was this model created to help you with your poetry?
No. It's because I want to be the best rapper alive.
That's your dream?
Yeah.
For some reason, when you said that, do you know the song Molly by Lil Dicky?
Yeah.
It just made me start thinking of that. Like I'm imagining you at home, like it's the hardest pill to swallow. Just like all you want, you're like crying, like God, I want to be a rapper, but I have to give up so much.
I have too much to give up.
That song is Jay listens to that song every night before he goes to bed.
I do.
Dustin in here said, Simon, check your Discord DMs.
Do it.
No, I'll check them tomorrow. Just kidding. I'll check them during the next break. I got one more idea for you, JL.
Tell me.
I've been rock climbing a bit more recently. That's the exercise I've gotten into about 10 months ago, started, kept on going. Most of it has been bouldering, which is enjoyable. You don't go too high. If you fall, you fall. You're not very high up. But the only problem there is sometimes it's difficult to work on endurance with just bouldering. I find myself like the strength is building, but the ability to climb for long periods of time is not, because most of the walls are sprints at a bouldering gym. You're just doing it quickly.
Right.
That being said, I don't want to do the whole belay nonsense where you got to get hooked up to a high rope and go up to the top and then unhook you. I don't want to have to deal with someone else. Part of the like the serenity of being there is it's kind of like a peaceful activity. Yeah, you can like incorporate someone else at a certain point, like, oh, like nice job on that wall. But getting like in the zone and doing it by yourself is part of the fun. So I don't want to do that to build endurance. But there's technology that I think you just have to combine with a rock climbing wall to give me what I want, where I don't have to worry about belaying. I don't have to worry about getting too high, but I can continue to do it for endurance. Tim got it. I'm about to say a treadmill wall. I want a rock climbing treadmill wall is what I want. One that rotates around and you're climbing to stay up, but I guess it would rotate this way. It's like on a track, and it can even come with like an incline, like a regular wall, because rock climbing walls like do overhangs.
That's such a smart idea. And sick, I feel like my initial thought was that makes me terrified that it's going to outrun me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be fast enough to keep up with it. All of a sudden I'm going to be like underneath it. But what I'm thinking is that it advances with you. So if you go up a level, then it's going to go down and adjust. And I think that solves your problem.
That's the perfect way to do it. I was just imagining just jump off before it hurts you.
Yeah, because like a part of rock climbing, right, is like planning how you're going to attack the next thing, right?
100%. 100%. So that works perfectly. It moves the pieces for you as you're going up the wall. Not the pieces, but the wall itself.
The wall itself is right.
So
It just would terrify you. Maybe it gives a little warning, little like vibration, like zzz, I'm about to go. Zzz.
Or it could be like pressure sensitive, where
as you're pulling yourself up, it's pulling down.
That's another idea. I was thinking more along the lines of if you lose all 4 points of contact with the wall, it shuts off. Like it stops moving. It could just be a sensor. Like there's something in there and it makes sure that you have at least 1 point of contact with the wall. Otherwise it stops moving.
Dude, someone's at home right now taking notes
I'm sure
of all these ideas. And
somebody's
they're like,
made one of these before.
that sounds like it has to have been made just because it's so obvious. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Tim says he's about to say his treadmill wall got me. He called you.
He came in and saw straight through it.
Yeah.
It would just be so much fun. Mr. Scammer said early testing, drunk calling on an escalator.
Drunk crawling on an escalator. Come
Yeah,
on.
that's our MVP. That's our minimum viable product. Just go to the mall after 7 beers, 7 IPAs, and try to crawl up the escalator on all fours.
Scampers has been here a while. I don't know why I just said good morning.
Go to bed, Scampers.
Earlier, Scamper said, oddly enough, Bar Rescue is one of the least fake shows of that ilk.
Bar Rescue?
Bar Rescue.
Who's the
That
host
FX?
of Bar Rescue?
I have no idea. Bar Rescue.
John Taffer is the Gordon Ramsay of the bar and nightclub business. In each episode of this program,
Or Taffer.
Taffer helps transform a struggling bar into a vibrant, profitable business, utilizing his expertise as a nightlife consultant who has started, flipped, or owned more than 600 bars and clubs. Taffer. My favorite part about those shows, about that one, and then like Hotel Impossible or whatever it's called, or like Disaster Restaurant. There's a restaurant one, a bar one, and a hotel one. Is the people have to sign up. They sign up for Gordon Ramsay to come in, and then Gordon Ramsay will come in and be like, you got to fix this. And they'll be like, no, you're on the show. You signed up to come on here. He's the expert. You've watched episodes before.
You knew you had issues or else you wouldn't have called them.
Exactly. Just do what he says, at least until he leaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For 5 days, just give it a shot.
I wonder if they're like, no, all right, you got to be a little bit more contentious here. Like, say no.
Probably. They probably do. But I also think it's probably the people who sign up for that think their business is failing and not necessarily because of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is failing, come in and fix it. But whenever they realize all of it's them, which is the plot of every single episode of every single one of those shows, so it should come as no shock.
It comes as a shock.
It comes as a shock every time.
Yeah.
That's the problem with ego. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it happen elsewhere. You'll sit there and go, not me. I'm different. It's
I'm
not
totally
me.
different.
I'm totally different than those guys.
All right, Simon, I got one more pitch for you.
Okay.
I can't remember if I pitched this already, which is why I'm adding it on here. I call it Be Safe Security. Emphasis on the B here because it's a B-based security system. Anybody tries to come into your yard, anybody tries to break into your house, you send the Hornets after them. You send the bees. You unleash them. They're targeted. You got some sort of thing on them, like similar to Ant-Man, where you can control the bees, taking people out.
I hate to break it to you, Jail, but my landlord in Augusta invented this already. Yeah, this
Giant hornet's nest
this has
all
been,
around.
This has been invented and implemented.
How did it work?
Well, in the apartment, a little backstory. I had a shower. I lived in this giant former mansion that was now a shithole of an apartment. They had like converted it. Walls were paper thin. It got down to like 20 degrees in there. And then the final straw, I come back from Clemson at like 2 a.m. one day and I'm so tired. And I just want to take a shower and go to bed. And I go and there's 2 inches of raw sewage in the bottom of my shower. So this is the meanest I've ever been to someone, probably. Those text messages like, are you insane? I paid this much a month and there's shit in my shower. Like I had to go to the gym at 2 a.m. I was mad. It was 2 a.m. and I was so tired. But so their solution, they owned an Airbnb 2 doors down. And she comes over the next day, gives me a key to one of the rooms or a bed and breakfast 2 doors down and says, you can use the shower in there until we get this taken care of. I apologize for that. And then as I'm leaving to walk over there with the key, she looks at me and she goes, you're not scared of bees, are you? Excuse me? What kind of qualifying question is that for me about to use a shower? You asked me, you're not scared of bees, are you? And I said, no, I am scared of bees. She goes, oh, well, like there's beehives around the front door over there. They were purposely placed, not like artificial beehives. They were the white boxes that they had as like freaking gargoyles on either side of the door. And you walk up and you just hear I never showered in that bathroom. The security system worked. I did not make it through the bees on the front porch. I was not about to walk through a swarm of bees to go shower.
That's absurd. That's absurd, Simon.
You're not afraid of bees, are you?
Oh my God.
That most ridiculous sentences anyone has ever said to me, given the context.
Yeah. Well, yes, in fact, I am.
I'm terrified of bees. Thanks for asking. And how is this related to my shower? Guys, coming up, we've got our friend Alfredo Brown joining the show to help us determine what the best dip is. So stick around. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Better Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he not? I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah, okay. So if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hurst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover. And then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
no way you know.
And Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14.
No way you know all this.
14, also a trick question. I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
was
on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay. Keep on going.
15, you have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16. Hold on. 16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17. Now this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. Yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had 2 people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into a best dips bracket. We were talking a little bit about salsa, queso, and guacamole earlier. What a coincidence that we just so happen to be doing a dips bracket today.
Wow.
Right, Jal?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if it was planned.
It's almost as if we came up with the idea after we started mentioning dips on the show, but that would be preposterous not to have known what bracket we were going to do before the show started.
No, we are strictly planned weeks ahead of time on this show.
Keith would never let that happen.
No, Keith is what you might say is a little mean.
And he puts together, I don't know, 40 brackets ahead of time, and we pick our favorite one.
Does a lot of extra work for us, yeah.
Craig said, remember when calling someone a dip was an insult? Those are the
dip.
Days. Now it just sounds like a name. Like you can name someone Dip.
Dip, yeah. I always just hear Jason from The Good Place saying, "Oh, Dip."
I need to watch more of that show instead of the chunks and pieces of it that I've seen.
Yeah, don't watch your chunky pieces.
I'll watch my chunky pieces if I want to. JL, I was going through the bracket and I saw initially that queso was on there twice. Is that because we love queso so much?
It's because we love queso so much, or I was so tired.
It deserves to be in there. I was trying to replace it, so maybe you can help me come up with that last dip. I had French onion dip. on there as the last one. Is there a separate dip that maybe we're missing that should be added instead of French onion?
Why don't you go through the options?
And maybe the chat has an option for us. Besides French onion, the options we have are salsa, hummus, spinach and artichoke dip, queso, guacamole, crab dip, and buffalo chicken dip are the options.
So at the last second, I swapped out. I swapped in buffalo because I was reminded that existed.
Oh, it's so
But I swapped it out for baba ganoush, which I thought was not going to be as popular.
No, baba ganoush would
dip.
I like baba ganoush, but it
Baba
would not
ganoush is
be
fantastic. But yeah,
number one for me.
Doesn't have the same like name power that buffalo chicken dip does.
No, it doesn't. I'm trying to think of other.
Dips. I haven't had a vegetarian equivalent of the buffalo chicken dip yet.
I almost made one for the Super Bowl, and then I didn't because it seemed like a lot of work, and I was home alone. It was just gonna be me, so I didn't.
There's a lot of cream cheese.
I just ordered food instead.
Yeah.
Well, John Luke, what's that last one gonna be? French onion dip?
French onion dip sounds fine. Chat, you let us know. Is there a dip we're forgetting here that we need to add, or is French onion dip the one? Before we get Alfredo up here to help us determine this bracket.
And we may be having some tech issues, so we may need to get started on the dips without Alfredo. Have him jump in.
No.
But that means there's only two of us, so we might need some help from the chat if we disagree on one of these. So we'll need some help from the chat figuring out these until Alfredo gets here.
Charles in here says nacho cheese. Is nacho cheese dip worth taking out French onion dip?
It is different than queso. Like it's a different thing. They both got cheese in them, but that is not the same.
That's not
dip.
queso. No.
I eat a lot more nacho
Sometimes
cheese dip
queso.
than I do French onion dip. Like at stadiums where you just get that crappy cheese sauce.
Oh yeah. I'll say let's keep French onion dip just because it's like distinct enough.
Yeah.
Bean
also,
dip.
James said bean dip, 7-layer dip, but probably French onion dip.
Why did I forget about that? What
It
the heck?
came rushing back to me in that moment.
Bean dip, and you just grab somebody's nipple.
You just run around and hurt your friends' feelings is what bean dip is. You remind them that they're not in the same shape they were a couple of years ago because you come over and there's a little bounce as you bean dip. It goes whoop, it plops back down and it hurts your feelings.
Yeah, I guess that is how it goes. That was a big thing in high school.
Yeah, people were bean dipping all over the place.
Bean dipping left and right.
I see my mom in the chat saying buffalo chicken dip. Oh, we got buffalo chicken dip.
Buffalo chicken dip is
not have to
in
worry.
there, locked in.
And Scott Fish says he'll be the official tiebreaker and buffalo chicken dip wins, is what he says down there. Well, you'll be part of the tiebreaker. We'll get some votes in the chat. John Luke, let's go ahead and start up here at the top. And I did not realize how much this one was going to hurt my feelings because we're already off to one where I'm sad that one of these is getting eliminated. Salsa versus hummus is the first round matchup here. I'm going to take the first
dip
vote.
or a condiment.
A sauce, a dressing. It could be a dip, ranch dip.
Okay. We won't include it. It's fine. Brackets doesn't need to be fully comprehensive. I went deep into a rabbit hole there.
Dame says, sounds like a dude thing. We didn't call it bean dip.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that does sound specifically like a dude thing.
I think it's just sexual harassment otherwise.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take the first vote here. Salsa versus hummus. I ate hummus yesterday or 2 days ago. Whenever I had kava, I had it smeared all over that pita right there. That roasted red pepper hummus smeared all over everything was
You get a pita
incredible.
at kava?
I get a pita. I don't get the bowl. I don't know why. I just like it all. It's preposterous, the size of the thing they give me with double meat. Yeah, and the whole time it's like every bite I'm like covered in sauce, like all
your
over
chap
you.
lips is just splitting.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. That being said, salsa's so versatile, and I didn't eat it for a long time because I thought I hated vegetables. You want something smoky? You got it. You want something sweet? You got it. You want something spicy? You got it. You want something sweet and spicy? You got it. My vote goes to salsa, the most versatile of comments. It can go, or condiments. It can go with breakfast. It can go with lunch. It can go with dinner. It can be a side that you just scoop something in, and no one's complaining when you just dump it all over a burrito either.
See, I've never once thought of salsa as a condiment.
It's a dip,
But
but
I
it
don't know.
also you can also
It
just
can
dump
be
it
a
all over
condiment.
stuff.
Yeah, it can be used in the same way that ketchup is used. So I don't know why I wouldn't have thought of it as a condiment. I'm with you, Simon. I got to go salsa here. Hummus is
Hummus.
It's delicious. It's a vegetarian's good friend. Chickpeas in general are really versatile, whatever they are. Vegetable, beans, I don't know.
Legume, maybe?
Legumes. But salsa is the 101. It's just so good. It is so freaking good. You can get it spicy. You can get it boring, like Tostitos. You can get it like nice, like pico, just fresh. There's so many
Boring or
different ways.
nice.
Boring or nice or fresh. That's it. That's the whole. Think of that. That's all you need. That's a full palate. So give me salsa.
Salsa. Sorry, hummus. You're getting eliminated. But shout out hummus. You are so
Alfredo's like,
so
no,
delicious."
hummus.
Yeah, he's sitting down there. He's not on you, but he's sitting down there just campaigning silently but loudly for hummus in his own house.
He's the guy who was there. This wouldn't have happened to hummus.
Dame said mango. Ooh, a spicy like mango
Mango.
habanero salsa is absolutely delicious.
Skyfish said salsa, not close, or not close. Salsa, not
Salsa.
close.
Salsa, no clothes.
Salsa, not close.
I did a salsa cooking class whenever I was in Mexico City. There's like a celebrity chef. She's on like their version of Good Morning America, who hosts a Airbnb experience for salsa cooking classes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so much fun. And I was blown away by how simple some of the recipes are for these salsas. Like you think they're insane. But I mentioned salsa verde earlier. It truly is just some like fire roasted jalapenos. You get them nice and charred, lime and salt in a blender. Done. That's salsa. And it's so tasty.
Charles saying agree, and I'm hungry, and I'm with you, Charles. This conversation's making me starving.
I need to go get some breakfast tacos after this or something.
I'm going to get some Qdoba later.
I've never been to a Qdoba.
It's fine. It's just fine.
We're going to move on to our next matchup. It's spinach and artichoke dip versus queso. See if we get our first disagreement here.
Hate this.
John Luke, where are you rolling on spinach artichoke dip versus queso?
I love spinach artichoke dip, and I love queso. Dude, spinach and artichoke dip is basically the queso of Mediterranean food.
Huh. That's an interesting. Well, while you're thinking about that, JL, joining the show right now, we've got our great friend Alfredo Brown, host of the Pretend GM over at Football Guys. You can find him on Twitter at the Pretend GM. Alfredo, thanks so much for taking the time to come on with us, my friend.
What's up, boys? We had a little backstage issues with camera and microphone and all that, but I'm here.
It happens to a lot of us.
Happy. And it's, you know what? It was really cool to hang out with you guys in Vegas. It was not cool, however, to hang out with Coop. That was my first time. Hated it. Hated every minute of it.
Absolutely.
Really glad he's not here right now.
Yeah.
We
all are.
We figured you had enough Coop time whenever you were out there in Vegas.
Absolutely.
So we took care of that for you today.
Yeah,
Alfredo.
about 10 seconds is enough Coop time, and then you're ready to move on.
We told him this morning, we're like, hey, Coop, listen, Alfredo's coming on today. He's had enough Coop time, so just don't come on.
And he said, you know what? I get it. He said, I've had enough Coop time, but there's very little I can do about it.
He's stuck with him.
He's stuck with him. Well, JL was about to vote on our next dip here. Alfredo, you're just in time. I know you're an expert at chip dips and different dips of different sorts. So we're going to get your help determining the best one. John Luke was just about to vote between queso and spinach artichoke dip. Where's your vote going?
Also, real quick, where are you going with salsa and hummus? Because that's already been decided. Simon and I both went salsa.
Yeah, it's salsa. It's 100% salsa.
All right, unanimous salsa. Good to know.
That's like a 1 versus a 16 seed. Like if we're doing brackets, that's what that is.
Yeah,
unanimous salsa. That's a team name.
Salsa.
John, where's your vote going here?
That's an Xbox gamer tag name. Unanimous salsa.
It's like, why are they all so weird? Mine is Salmon Cougar. That's what was given to me.
I thought yours was Adam Panda.
No, that was one I came up with myself. Salmon Cougar _0 is my Xbox gamer tag.
Cougar. Salmon Cougar. That's what Zach Wilson had for dinner. All right, spinach and artichoke dip or queso. I'm gonna go with.
Why would you say that?
I'm gonna go with queso. No, I'm gonna go spinach artichoke dip. Huzzah!
No! Spinach artichoke dip, Dale.
Yeah.
Alfredo, where's your vote going here? Is it going to queso or is it going to spinach artichoke dip?
This one's a lot closer. Is there any kind of wiggle room here? It's like what we're eating the dip with, or it's just like
your call.
Dealer's choice.
Oh, we didn't standardize this. Like it's like tortilla chips all the way through, or like crackers all the way through.
The vessel can be part of your judgment if you so please, or you can just imagine you're just like shoving your fingers in it. That way it's pure.
Don't want to do that.
Eating with a spoon. Maybe as a simpler way to describe that point.
Sucking queso off your fingers
is maybe a less distracting way to describe that.
Yeah, Simon, if I ever have like a Super Bowl party, you are not invited, sir. Have you putting your fingers in my queso?
I just walk out of the kitchen with a fistful of buffalo chicken dip and a fistful of tortilla chips and plop it down on the table in front of me.
Just finger painting all over the furniture with various sauces.
Yeah, I shared a bed with Simon in Vegas, and let me say that was a messy ordeal.
I'm quite a sleep finger painter.
Those sheets were covered in queso.
Nope.
I was like, I don't even know where he got it. There was no queso in our room when we went to bed.
We didn't eat queso the entire trip.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm trying to think here of like what dip has the better longevity. I'm gonna say that the spinach artichoke dip, because I feel like you can get tired of queso pretty quick, of just like nonstop cheese in your mouth. So the spinach artichoke dip, there's levels to it. I think it's got a little more versatility. I'm gonna go there.
Ooh, whoa! Upset!
I want to click the X on this window right now. I thought this was a foregone conclusion. The queso was just gonna like run its way straight through the end of this bracket. I'm upset. There are few things in life better than a bowl of hot piping queso. You can just oh my god, I would bathe in it. I would cover my body in it and then lick it out of my elbow crack right there. I would eat queso. I would eat queso poured through somebody else's butt crack just because it's so delicious.
You'd queso luge it?
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I would queso luge it through somebody else's ass crack just to get a taste of that sweet queso. There is not another dip in the world I would do that for. But I guess we're sitting here. I like spinach artichoke dip. It's good. But if queso's on a menu at a restaurant, it's on my table. And there's 2 bowls of it on my table every single time. Queso destroys me to a point where I'm unhappy for 48 hours. I live in the bathroom and I will still drink it with a straw. It's so delicious. I'm voting queso, but it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Spinach artichoke dip moves on.
Simon, you said a lot of things that just the images are going to stick with me, whether it's the butt luge or the straw, the bowl, like your hands, your body, eating it out of your elbow crack. Like there was just a lot of things that were said there that it's just
I feel like we all went on a journey.
It's early, man. You gotta let's bring it back a notch.
Sorry, my dreams are ever so present at the forefront of my mind this early in the morning, so they just start leaking out. Also, Scott said, never thought I'd see the day I'd see Alfredo bought off by big spinach artichoke dip.
Big spinach artichoke dip coming for
bowing down to the man.
And where's the media on this coverage, man?
Nowhere to
be found.
Alfredo, you got the first vote on this next one. It is guacamole versus French onion dip. Where are you voting here?
That's an easy one for me. I'm not a French onion dip guy, so guac.
Guac for Alfredo.
There's a reason you get charged extra for guac. No place is like, well, we're gonna have to charge you an extra $1.50 for that French onion dip. No, no one even orders it. Yeah.
And whenever they say I'll charge you extra for guac, I always say like, you think I ordered it without knowing? Like,
yeah.
Like, and I'm always a little offended. Like, you saying I can't afford $1.50? Like, all right.
Yeah.
You saying I can't afford an extra $1.50? What about me screams he can't afford avocado on his burrito? Yeah, Drake walks in and orders it. You're not asking him, are you sure? Right. It costs extra.
Right.
And maybe I can't, but you don't need to judge me in a Moe's, man.
Simon, Drake, same person, basically.
Same
dude.
Approximately. I'm voting guacamole here as well. They don't make French onion dip table side. It's never a highlight of a restaurant is like, oh, you have to try their French onion dip. But guacamole, you can get some solid guacamole. Get some spice in there, a little extra garlic. I'm a fan. John Luke, it's been decided, but are you voting for French onion dip or the mole of guaca?
I've never seen French onion dip outside of the context of just like really cheap potato chips. And so I got to go guacamole. Guacamole is fantastic. just as it can be a standalone dish at times.
It can't be a standalone dish. And Better Boss voting for guac in the chat. The next matchup we've got crab dip versus buffalo chicken dip. The winner facing off against guacamole. I've got the first vote here. It's an easy one for me. I like crab dip. Don't get me wrong. It's good. But buffalo chicken dip was sent from the gods to grace Super Bowl Sunday. It is the centerpiece of Super Bowl spreads. Every single person there is going to destroy that crock pot, glass tray, however you make it. You're going to be left over with some guacamole. You'll probably have salsa in a bowl with some loose tortilla chips. You will be cleaned out on your buffalo chicken dip because everyone loves it as long as they eat chicken. I'm rolling with buffalo chicken dip here. Alfredo, what are you doing? Is it crab dip or is it BCD?
You know, I like an underdog. I'm gonna go with the crab dip.
Oh no!
I live in South Florida. We're a little bit closer to the ocean. Everything's a little bit fresher over here. There's some really good fish dips and crab dip and all that stuff. I'm so sorry, Simon.
Well, I already know what's coming because you know the person going after you know where he's from. He's from Maryland.
Yes.
Oh,
that's what they do. I hear.
What have you done, Alfredo? What have you done?
This is
ruining Simon's mark. Listen, you started this with the whole like taking queso with a straw through someone's butt, and now we're finishing this. Okay, we're taking control of the show.
Yeah, but I like combining them, Alfredo. That's the kind of innovative thinker we look for.
No thanks.
Dustin said JL votes against crab dip. He gets kicked out of Maryland. Those are the rules. That's the law here.
Them's the rules.
Well, JL, are you getting kicked out of Maryland or are you getting kicked out of my friendship circle?
Listen, I can't eat either of these dishes anymore.
Because they were mean.
But I did a number on both of these dishes growing up. Let me tell you. When I discovered buffalo chicken dip, life was different. Life was completely different. That crock pot tray was never the same. Crab dip is an essential part of my life, though, so I have to go crab dip here.
No!
It is. Come on, man. I grew up on the Bay. We had crabs all the time. Crab dip you have that at every restaurant around here. Crab dip or cream of crab soup or Maryland crab soup, something.
I am shocked and upset. And for the first time ever, I think I'm not the person responsible for ruining a food bracket.
It sucks to be in that position, huh? I'm used to it.
God. Scott Fish down here saying allowing buffalo chicken dip in this is like putting the Chiefs in a high school state tourney. And even a good football state the Chiefs are going to run through. Apparently not. Patrick Mahomes got benched or something. Victor saying buffalo chicken dip all the way to a first round exit at the hands of crab dip.
Brutal.
We have our second round matchup here. Alfredo, you've got the first vote. It is salsa versus spinach and artichoke dip.
That's not even a contest. It's got to be salsa. Salsa just, I mean, it's great, man. Like, have you guys ever had like huevos ranchero where you do like a little bit of salsa with your up in there? So it works for a breakfast thing. It works with chips. Like you can mix it into so many different things. I'm going salsa.
Okay, John Luke, we're pushing up against the end here, but we got to know what the best dip is. Is it going to be salsa or is it going to be spinach and artichoke in this matchup?
I got to go with my man Alfredo here. I've never met anybody who I've agreed with on this bracket more so with than Alfredo.
Yeah, I feel real teamed up against here on some of these. But
yeah, this is foreign territory for me. I'm not used to feeling like I have somebody else with the same food take.
I'm in your camp this time. It's salsa. I like spinach and artichoke dip, but salsa is in the S tier of dips. And just the sheer versatility of it is what gets that done.
Yeah, that's the difference between the two. You can't put spinach and artichoke dip on your eggs. I mean, you can. It'll be delicious, but
probably be pretty good.
It'd probably be a fantastic idea, but
Scott Fisher, did the fact that crab dip isn't even good not factor in here? Yeah, they didn't even consider that, Scott. And Tim said salsa taking the Eagles route to the finals. Good God. Beating down on hummus and spinach and artichoke dip. We got our next matchup, guacamole versus crab dip. John Luke, you got the first vote here.
He's right, though. Salsa did, but salsa, like, there's gonna, unless we put salsa against buffalo chicken dip, that would have been way harder. Actually, Tim makes a really good point.
Well, apparently against freaking crab dip, maybe it would have been hard.
Yeah, true. All right, so crab dip or guacamole? I gotta go guac. I love crab dip, but yeah, guac is so good, so good.
I'm going to go with guacamole here as well. I like crab dip, but I'm not always in the mood for crab dip. I can always tackle a bowl of guacamole. What about you, Alfredo?
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. Guac all the way around.
We got a queen sweep. We have a queen sweep in these finals, guys. It's a queen sweep for both of these guys. Guacamole versus salsa as the final vote here to determine the champion. Let's let our guest go last on this one, John Luke. Be the determining factor. You're up first. Where are you voting?
I gotta go salsa. There are days where I'm not in a guac mood, and I decide, you know what? I'm gonna skip the guac today. I'm just gonna stick with the salsa, and I always go salsa. I'm never not in a salsa mood. Salsa.
I do like salsa better. I'm gonna be honest, but whenever it comes to like a dip, guacamole can be a source of protein for you. It can fill you up. You're not getting full on salsa. You'll eat 45 tortillas worth of tortilla chips before you're full. It is wildly delicious and versatile, but I'm going to throw it to Alfredo. He has been on point this bracket, agreeing with you mostly. We've agreed on getting to this point, these two. And Alfredo, you are going to be the determinant of the best dip, inarguable, because of the brackets of science. There's a lot of pressure on this decision. Guacamole or salsa, the vote is 1-1.
Do a sprout, Alfredo.
Well, first, before I say anything, I'm going to say that the real winner here today is the Mexican culinary industry, and places like Chipotle, of course.
Facts. Yeah.
And that cannot be understated. Man, Simon, I hear what you're saying about guac. It's fantastic, and it gives you protein, right? It's a vessel for protein. It helps your body. It can fill you up. It can be a meal. But this is a dip.
Where's the butt?
A dip is not a meal. A dip is meant to go with something else, and for me, it is salsa.
Let's go
all the way. JL and I, we're the yes.
Salsa, you are the best dip. Congratulations. You did it. Alfredo, thank you so much for helping us tackle this important question. Salsa is officially the best dip. And everybody watching, if you want more of these expert dip takes and some pretty good fantasy football advice, you should head over to Twitter and follow our friend Alfredo at the Pretend GM. Alfredo, you said it already, but it was great getting to see you in Vegas and great getting to see you this morning. I appreciate you taking the time to come on and help us out with this.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for having me. And Simon, once again, you're never invited to my house for a Super Bowl party. JL, we can dip it up, bro.
Let's go.
I'm just going to be standing outside the window with my fingers dripping in queso, dragging my hand down your windows, leaving a smear of queso as I walk away. Alfredo, thank you again, my friend. And we'll see you on another time.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Adios. Guys, that is going to be it for us today. Shout out salsa, shout out guacamole, and crab dip can go F itself. We will be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time for some more Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show nonsense. The return of the Coop, or so I've heard, coming back on tomorrow. Until then, though, we are out of here, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us and giving us your best dip opinions in the chat. Happy Thursday. See you tomorrow morning, everyone.